What character would I play in a movie?
You play the evil villain that's very, very manipulative and not at all clear that you're the villain. You'd be like the heroine that's actually the secret villain.
This is your call to not believe everything on the internet. Half of it's planned, half of it's a lie, being manipulated.
She's become the main character of TikTok in a very, very, very bad way.
Michael Barnes uses her for her money.
When you hear the allegations and the stories about this girl, it makes sense, but it's still mental.
She keeps telling them to keep doing more and more and more.
I got peer pressure, okay? I got peer pressure.
And justice needs to be served. She does not deserve this platform for mental health. Because what about our mental health?
On July 6, 2025, 3 famous teen influencers, Ashley Barnes, Brad Mason, and Capri, as well as Ashley Barnes' 2 roommates, got together in a hotel room in Los Angeles.
We go back to the hotel, like it's getting late, like we're with like her roommates. She like starts like spraying pheromone spray. We had another TikToker. They're, I would say, very, very famous right now. They come over.
What was supposed to be a casual get-together between friends soon escalated into a night of horrors.
And then she starts like pressuring everyone, and she's like kind of like doing like, oh, like do this, like do this, like kind of like pressuring more of them into like doing like stuff.
Later on, the people in the hotel room came forward to tell their stories, in which Ashley Barnes pushed them to do things that they were never comfortable with doing.
She's obviously not clear-minded. I'm telling her, you need to stop. You're my friend, but she's still going.
But how did things escalate this far? How did a young TikTok influencer known for being a mental health advocate think it's okay to SA her friends in a hotel room? The story of Ashley Barnes and the hotel nightmare starts at a questionable childhood that may have set Ashley on the path of normalizing things she should have never normalized. Substance abuse and a continual pattern of intruding on others' boundaries may have escalated into the situation at hand. All of a sudden, a girl who dealt with potential abuse turned into a girl who's an abuser and represents the power of social media. How you have to be mindful over whatever power you hold over others and how you use it in the right way, holding yourself to higher standards than others hold to you whenever possible. Since this story has surfaced, teenager Ashley Barnes has been circulating social media, as well as the faces of the teen victims who have come forward to share their story. And people have continually mocked everyone who's been involved. She's been doxxed online as well. Oh my god. Why are people making this into a joke? Calling her Diddy isn't even funny. Her life is over. One quick Google search and a bunch of articles pop up. Not only is her name all over the internet, but there's news coverage on her crimes. No job will want to hire her. Now this situation, this story involves minors, which I was not initially aware of and made me not want to cover it. But at the same time, I think it's a really important issue to address, with many people treating these minors as if they're adults, just because all of them have huge social media followings. We need to discuss the broader issue of so many minors using social media, becoming major social media influencers with millions of followers, while they're still minors. So while I want to discuss this situation in relation to that issue, I want to do it very mindfully without further exploiting these minors. I don't really know if that's even possible, so please bear with me, because there's aspects of this case I think are very important to talk about. Namely, I don't think many people have fully addressed the actual fucking adults in this situation and where the fuck they were through all of this. So yeah, let's talk about that. I think for the non-influencers of this story, their faces will be blurred so they can maintain privacy, and since many of them are still minors. Teenagers shouldn't have huge platforms just for posting videos of themselves. This situation is an example of why. Ashley Barnes has been posting TikToks and having a large audience since she was 14, as far as I know. An over 1 million people audience for someone just posting videos of herself is insane, and almost definitely not healthy for a teenager, often hardest years of your life. Imagine how different her life would be if she didn't have so many people watching her. Only way something will be done about this is if they add legal restrictions. Parents don't and won't care enough about this, especially with money coming in. Hi friends and internet acquaintances, welcome or welcome back to another video on my channel covering controversial internet figures. Don't forget to subscribe for another deep dive, and if you like this video, give it a like if you want to. If you have suggestions for another video topic or want to expose more internet wrongdoings to light, then follow my subreddit r/exploitationexposed. This video topic is recommended in the r/exploitationexposed subreddit. And before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out to the Ashley Barnes Snark subreddit. In terms of gathering in-depth research on this situation, I think that subreddit deserves a lot of credit, as you'll see in this video. And now let's get into it. Before we fully dive into the story of Ashley Barnes and how things turned out this way, well, what exactly is the serious situation that led most of the internet, aka fully grown adults, to be talking about teenagers? Basically, Ashley Barnes has been lying about her sobriety on the internet, and in early July, she flew out a small group of influencer friends. She got really effed up drinking and whatever else, kept trying to force others to take substances and drink when they were uncomfortable. She then started daring everyone to make out and forcing herself onto basically every single person that was there. They also found what this Redditor calls, and other people have called, Ashley's Diddy drawer. A video was even captured and shared of the infamous hotel drawer.
So right here is me finding, like, in the drawer the next morning, that's Oregon gel, that's lube, that is more like of those gummies, and then she has pheromone spray. That's what she kept spraying all day. And then like there's like one of those in there that was like a stick that she like rubbed on her roommate.
The general internet consensus is that something is not quite right with Ashley Barnes, but even so, that doesn't excuse SA. Ashley used to post mental health awareness content, which makes the situation even more jarring. Though Ashley kind of uses the phrases mental health awareness and mental health creator interchangeably in her content. She became known for posting the raw, real moments of her mental health, starting from a very young age, 14, I believe.
I started posting June 15th, 2022. I was 14 years old at the time. I had a really rough time in school with my mental health, with bullying, with friendship.
She would allegedly post about forgetting to brush her teeth and post daily teeth brushing updates. This kept herself in check, which became relatable to a lot of people.
I posted this video of me brushing my teeth with the caption, "It's been a while since I've done this," because my mental health was in such a bad state where it's like I wasn't even taking care of myself. Like there were a couple people who were like, "That's disgusting," but then there were so many people who were like, "I can't get out of bed, I can't clean my room, like I haven't brushed my teeth," and then they were like, "This is reminding me that like I should go do it." Like, so I made a duet chain, and every single day I brushed my teeth. Every night I would brush my teeth before going to bed, and I would post the video to remind my little family of followers that I had back then to brush their teeth.
This content evolved into Ashley posting herself struggling mentally, or acting out scenarios of people not being understanding of mental illness. For example, Ashley posted a TikTok of her not being able to show up to school on time because she's crying in her car before school. Though I'm sure many of you will notice, in order to film a TikTok of you crying in the car before school, you'd have to bust out your phone, hit record. Ashley also spoke very openly about turning to substances after a breakup. Ashley often made TikTok posts with long text rants about how her mental health would make other people uncomfortable, and how she'd often walk through the halls with mascara running down her face. Ashley made a TikTok about being so happy to have found friends that she didn't have to pretend around. There's also a larger theme in a lot of Ashley's TikTok content where she often feels like she has to pretend, which can certainly be a red flag for her mental health the longer she has to cope that way. I'm pathetic because I know what it's like to be bullied. And lastly, Ashley made frequent content around her ongoing battle with an ED. Living with an ED is a lifelong thing. It never really goes away. And in general, it's a little bit concerning to see Ashley post content as if she's fully cured from her ED, yet brings it up constantly. That being said, in general, many people followed Ashley and were inspired by her openness and vulnerability, which is one of the hardest things to be online, when you often feel the need or pressure to be perfect. Ashley even spread SA awareness. The fact that she was the type of person to spread SA awareness and then becomes the SAer is actually beyond me. I'm sorry, I don't want to take off my clothes. Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm literally a kid. If you can't understand that, bye-bye. That being said, Ashley is literally a kid. So when I kept seeing people talking about Ashley's actions, a question kept nagging at the back of my brain. Since Ashley is not a fully grown adult, the only reasonable explanation I could think of for her actions is that much of this relates directly to her childhood, since Ashley's technically still in her childhood. And what I found, I think, explains a lot. Why is no one talking about how much her dad is to blame? Ashley Barnes definitely made big mistakes. I'm not saying she didn't, but she's 17. Her future's ruined, and no one's talking about how she ended up here. She went through real trauma, and instead of helping her, her dad cared more about money and image. So let's talk about Ashley's past and what played a role. While Ashley's TikToks would tell a story of a supportive father, especially when it came to Ashley opening up about her sexuality, behind the scenes there may be a much darker story.
My dad has just always done his best to support my sister and I. At first he's like, why is she always filming TikToks? Like, why are you doing that for an hour every day? And then once he realized like the people I was reaching, he was like, this is like really good what you're doing, and he was like all for it.
Ashley was born in November of 2007. It's been noted in commentary in snark communities, as well as on Ashley's own TikTok pages, that she's adopted when she was a baby. Her adoptive father, Michael Barnes, has appeared in her social media content consistently since her very start on TikTok, though Ashley Barnes has never posted any mother figure on her TikToks. Online chatter on both YouTube and Reddit have claimed that Ashley was adopted by Michael Barnes and his then wife, who later divorced. Following the divorce, Ashley lived with her adoptive father and then stepmother, as well as her sister, who was also adopted. Vague sources claim that Ashley's childhood was very rough, though there's never any distinct and clear claims of what exactly happened. There's also been some content and commentary videos spreading false information. For example, people have claimed that Michael Barnes was arrested for child SA in the past, but this is a report from a different Michael Barnes. This can happen, of course, because there's many people with the same name, which is why it can be important to not jump to conclusions. When it comes to legitimate and concerning claims regarding Michael Barnes and his relationship with Ashley, there are many. And the more you dive into the story of Ashley, the more suspicious Michael becomes. Ashley's ex-friends have claimed that her adoptive father is exploiting her and only cares about the money that she's making from her content, and that Michael Barnes is potentially enabling her as well, supporting her various addictions and bad behavior because essentially he only cares about the money she's bringing in from her social media content. He values that over her mental health and long-term well-being.
Her dad's one of the head of the AA meetings, and he took her out of the rehab, talked to the head, just so she can go to Paul's party. From our experience, Michael Barnes uses her for her money. All he cares about is the money she makes.
As we know, this is a story that's becoming all too common when it comes to children and teenagers on social media. They're not fully developed, so they're looking to their parents for guidance. They're in a vulnerable position, and the person they trust the most is also the person who can exploit them the easiest. How it feels having a conversation with someone who actually understands. And it's Ashley Barnes and Piper Raquel. What Melina said about Michael Barnes is concerning as F. She basically said he uses Ashley for money, and that's all he cares about. Ashley did some heinous shiz that should never be swept under the rug. But let's not forget about all the adults in her life who have failed her through enabling and using a teenager. This situation is incredibly nuanced, and she is most likely, allegedly, both a victim and a perpetrator. Cause who am I if not exploited? Ashley Barnes' father, Michael Barnes, has a TikTok of his own called Statman the Boss, where he has almost 330,000 followers, and he frequently makes content. The thing is, he really makes content largely centered around his two adopted daughters. Doing a photo montage dropping his daughter off at college. So while this is a story about Ashley Barnes, I want to take the time to talk about Michael Barnes, a key aspect of this story, the real adult in the situation, and all of his involvement in Ashley's life. For all the mental health struggles and issues that Ashley Barnes has clearly been dealing with and posting about online, Michael Barnes is an expert in them in his professional life, which is, well, a strange dichotomy to say the least, though I can't speak to how common or uncommon that is. Michael Barnes runs Alcoholics Anonymous AA meetings. This suggests a first-hand understanding of substance recovery. Yet on his involvement with Ashley's addiction issues, there wasn't really an immediate help with her recovery. She's a minor. He has that power. Michael Barnes has also struggled with addiction himself. Michael Barnes also has an extensive education and background in psychology with an Ivy League education, according to his LinkedIn. Michael Barnes's education. I found Michael Barnes' LinkedIn, and this man has a PhD in psychology from Yale University. Why he thinks parenting Ashley in this way is acceptable when he has all this education in psychology is incredibly ironic. There is no way he has a degree in psychology and only found out about her addiction after the hotel thing. He definitely knew and just failed to parent her. Makes me feel almost sorry for her, honestly. I was so confused by this just because of the events that unfold in this story and the lack of parenting that happened. The fact that Ashley was often on solo trips, exhibiting clear signs of mental health issues, as you saw in all those previous TikToks. She's posting about mental health issues and how she's struggling. I was so flabbergasted that her dad has a degree in psychology from Yale, extensive Ivy League education in psychology, essentially the help that Ashley desperately needs, that I looked into it myself. And yes, this is true. This looks like Michael Barnes. This looks very much like his LinkedIn. And on this LinkedIn, it says that he has a degree in psychology from Yale, or at least received education in psychology from Yale, as well as Harvard. That really blows my mind. So what did Michael use his education for? Well, some internet users have speculated, like on the Ashley Barnes Snark page, that Michael has fostered an inappropriately close or boundary blurring dynamic with Ashley ever since she was very young. Ultimately, of course, no one knows what happened between Michael Barnes and Ashley. I think it's inappropriate of myself to claim that anything happened without substantial evidence, because of course, these are people's lives. That being said, I'll show what's been posted between all family members, and you can judge for yourself whether there's an inappropriate family dynamic taking place. That being said, there was a Reddit comment claiming to know this family personally. I can confirm he, meaning Michael Barnes, is very predatory. I have some friends who knew her since elementary school to 8th grade, and one of them said he told them in elementary school that he would date them if he was their age. On top of that, I'm not sure if this is still the case, but in the past, if you looked through Michael Barnes' reposts on his TikTok account, it is all Ashley Barnes posts, and much of them are her talking about her sexuality or doing TikTok dances. I don't know about you, but I would find it strange to see my friend's dad on TikTok posting content with her regularly. But if I were to also find that all of his reposts were of his daughter doing TikTok dances, I would be incredibly creeped out. Anyone else find this strange? It's a video of Michael Barnes watching his daughter dance from behind. Ashley looks so uncomfortable in this video. Another TikToker who had a former friendship of sorts with Ashley Barnes also spoke about Michael Barnes being very creepy towards her.
Before I had a platform, I would post videos in a crop top or something showing you know what, or a bikini video once in a while, but he would like and comment on those videos all the time. And I get I'm over the age and I am not a minor anymore, but that is still creepy. That is your daughter's friend.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like, why are you even following me, bruh? You like how old, 70?
Something I also find very strange is online, Ashley and her dad act like they have a perfect relationship together. But there's a deleted video where they claim they didn't talk for 2 years. Dear dads, 2 years ago, we weren't on speaking terms, and now we're best friends. It's not too late to fix your relationship with your kids. On top of that, Ashley doesn't have a strong mother figure in her life, like at all. It's even been alleged that she's not allowed to call her stepmother mom, or maybe she just doesn't call her stepmother mom. Her mom gave her up for adoption to Michael and his wife. Her adopted mom divorced Michael and is apparently abusing Michael remarried a woman who is Ashley's stepmom, but she asked Ashley to call her by her first name. In general, this is an incredibly confusing dynamic for a young girl to grow up in, without a strong mother figure and where her dad is the only person in her life and might not have healthy boundaries with her. It doesn't always seem like he's a role model in her life for the right reasons. That being said, of course, many people grew up in confusing, difficult situations with blurred boundaries and don't grow up to do terrible things. But I also think understanding someone's background is essential to understanding their circumstances. What frame of mind they might be in, what pressure they might be under, the warped mindset they might have been given from a young age, and what kind of damage that can do to a person. Also, undiagnosed neurodivergence mixed with childhood SA, but that's entirely speculation. Not to mention, the men in Ashley's life often made incredibly inappropriate jokes, which to me personally is always a huge red flag. But Ashley normalized this and posted it as content. And this is the point in the story where things start to turn darker and darker. As you can see Ashley start to normalize behavior and then do it herself.
What character would I play in a movie?
You'd play the sort of evil villain that's very, very manipulative and not at all clear that you're the villain. You'd be like the heroine that's actually the secret villain.
Wait, that's like a really creative answer.
No, it's true.
On Ashley's Sweet 16, her uncle wore this joke shirt and Ashley posted about it. Charles wearing his "Your little princess is my little whore" shirt the whole night. And also look at the pose that Ashley is doing. This is her Sweet 16. What uncle wears that to his niece's Sweet 16? What Ashley's old friends actually have to say about her. This was apparently shared on a Snapchat account with moderators, I believe, of the Snark subreddit. Also, her dad is like low-key abusive. Like he would call her at school and yell at Ashley when her views were down. The whole relationship was always weird because he's such a pushover and would always give Ashley everything she wanted, aka enabling her, because it benefited him monetarily. She would also tell me how he abused her as a kid though. Of course, a lot of those allegations I can't verify whether or not they're credible. In my opinion, one of the most maybe disturbing things that Ashley ever posted was about her kissing her own sister.
We're sisters and like we're like besties, and you know besties like get mad at each other. We get like mad at each other and I like hate her for a week, but then I love her. Or a day and then I love her.
We're like only 10 months apart and we've been with each other like every second of our lives. We're both adopted, so genetically we don't share any genes, but it's not like that. We just like ever since we were little, like even in the school hallway we would like give each other a little kiss because we just like love each other.
Yeah, we're very close.
Should we do it again for them? What? We should do it again for them.
Though Ashley's sister wants to largely stay private, which I'm trying to do as much as possible in this video, at the end of July, she posted a TikTok and there's a comment on that TikTok that I want to know. I know you're probably so sick of questions and you can totally ignore me or just like if it's true, but did Ashley force that sister kissy face video? Essentially asking if Ashley forced her sister to kiss her in that video, and her sister liked that comment. A very concerning thing that was reported very frequently, even self-reported, was Ashley's behavior during sleepovers, which she self-admitted to.
You don't even know what you're asking me to come for.
Ashley's childhood friends, Gianna and Gabby, made a video about what it was like growing up with Ashley and her family. It seems like Gianna and Gabby are mainly Ashley's sister's friends. Ashley's sister, I would like for the most part to keep out of this video. It seems like she has wanted to largely remain private and she does not deserve to be roped into this story in any significant way. When Gianna and Gabby were having a sleepover with Ashley's sister, Ashley came in and started pressuring the girls into answering invasive questions.
At the sleepover, it was me, Gabby, Haley, and another girl who we cannot name, so we're going to be naming her Lily. The four of us were in Haley's room and we were doing the typical things that any kids would do, such as playing Roblox. It wasn't until Ashley came into our room, she joined us on the bed and sort of asked us what we were doing. She switched the normal conversation we had into asking questions like, have you ever kissed anyone before? It wasn't until we gave her the response of, no, we never kissed anyone, no, we've never had boyfriends before, is when she started saying stuff like, oh, don't you think it's important to have experience? She kept saying stuff like, it's totally normal to practice with friends. You know what, baby, that's what we should do instead. She was very persistent, trying to make everything sound casual and harmless. After that, the entire mood just like completely shifted over, and I felt like she had like ulterior motives.
Since the friend Gabby had never kissed anyone, Ashley wanted to show her how it's done. She then forcefully grabbed another friend by the neck to kiss her.
I remember Ashley literally showing Gabby how it's done, grabbing Lily by the neck, pushing her on the bed, is on top of Lily, making out with Lily very forcefully.
Ashley tells Gabby it's her turn and brings her into her room.
She did all of this for me, and that now it's my turn. And she was basically like blackmailing me from what she did to my friend, and she kind of made me feel like the bad guy. Next thing you know, I see Gabby leaving with Ashley to go into her bedroom.
She then locked the door so no one else could get in. After the situation, she disappeared and tried to pretend like nothing happened. Ashley has 100% been SA'd, and I don't say that lightly. I think she's been SA'd since a young age, and it's unfortunately been going on for a while. There have been multiple posts on Ashley speaking about having been SA'd in the past. I saw somewhere as a comment on here, somebody said it's most likely Ashley was a victim herself of SA at some point, because that is the reason most children develop this hyper or SA others. I saw a response to that said it was confirmed that she had talked about it before, and it was the reason why she gained a big following when she first started social media. Ashley went viral for performing at school the monologue Why I Hate the Color Red about SA, seeming to open up publicly about her experiences.
I've raised assault awareness. I performed a monologue at my school about it when I was 14. That was one of the first things I did at my school. It was kind of something that I was known for.
I couldn't find the full video, but there are a few snippets on TikTok.
Why I hate the color red. With my flip sequence panda backpacking to my state, my town, he moves the laptop out the way and for the first time, I hated the attention. Trying to form words, get out, and we're children in school. So I'm taking red, is why I love the color red.
Gianna went on to talk about Ashley kissing her sister, saying it was something her father encouraged.
If you look at the picture, clearly neither of the girls are the ones taking this picture, which also shows that this behavior was not only approved by the father, but was also encouraged, making her allegedly also a victim in the environment that she was raised in. Which is another reason why, when it comes to that whole situation, it's really hard to be able to pinpoint and say that it was Ashley that did this, because when you're both kids raised in an environment like that, it's hard to be able to tell what's right from wrong. So the fact that this behavior was encouraged and was told that it was okay is just a really big red flag on its own.
Wow. I think that says a lot on its own. At Ashley's sister's graduation dinner, Ashley brought a friend. Her and this friend kept disappearing into the bathroom.
Throughout the night, they kept going into the bathroom. Obviously, it wasn't any of our business, but it was a little strange that every 5 to 10 minutes they would just be gone.
Gigi and Gabby were curious who this friend that Ashley brought was. They found out that this girl was 13, 14 years old, way younger than Ashley.
Us being the nosy people that we were, we decided to ask another person who this was. We regret asking that question because we ended up finding out that the girl that is with Ashley is 13 to 14 years old. Mind you, Ashley is 17, turning 18 this year. This clearly was not just a friend. The entire time they were flirting, disappearing for long periods of times, multiple times, and not only that, I think all of us were able to tell that they were like touching each other under the table. Not in a weird way, just like, holding hands or, a hand in someone's thigh, stuff like that. I took a picture. This is the picture right here. I'm gonna blur the girl's face out because she has nothing to do with anything.
The father, Michael Barnes, apparently knew about this and did not care.
And the father also knew about this too, but he didn't care.
Having a slumber party, winky face. What happens at the sleepover stays at the sleepover. At Piper Raquel. I hate that this is a statistic that I feel like I have to bring up because it feels like I'm victim blaming, but it is an unfortunate reality that we should not turn away from, because in order to heal, we have to face this head on. It does not mean that everyone who's a victim of child SA becomes an offender, but it's something that should be noted at this point in the video. Also, so that those who are victims of CSA get the proper care and therapy so we can remove the stigma and stop the cycles. So let's talk about the statistics, the studies revolving CSA. Childhood sexual abuse is significantly associated with subsequent sexual offending. New evidence among federal correctional clients. The current study provides significant evidence that CSA is associated with later sexual offending, even when accounting for powerful clinical and criminological covariates. Finkelhor and Brown's 1985 traumagenic model of the effects of CSA theorized that victims of CSA display awareness, knowledge, and potential interest in sexual activity that is inappropriate for their age and can manifest in the victim initiating sexual activity with peers or replicating their victimization on younger children. Some CSA victims also develop compulsive sexual behaviors that can include sexual aggression, and unfortunately, it may explain the experience of Ashley Barnes. Though of course, I don't know for sure. And again, of course, the actions of those involved should be looked at. These are children thrown into adult roles, making money that the adults in their lives are taking from them, having all of these pressures. They might think they're adults, but that doesn't mean that we should be treating them like adults. Instead, throughout the rest of this story, we should be continually asking the question, why did this happen? Who, when we pull back the curtain, is really responsible for all of this? Early in Ashley Barnes' social media career, which is weird to say because she was underage and a minor, from the years of 2020 to 2022, Ashley Barnes emerged on TikTok as a relatable teenager. While mental health was a big aspect of Ashley Barnes' platform, another big part of her brand identity that she became known for was openly expressing her sexuality online and receiving positive support from her online community and her father. The thing is, while Ashley hashtags every single TikTok #women-loving women, lately people were concerned on whether or not Ashley was queer baiting. While I understand people's perspectives and concerns worried about Ashley queer baiting for views and engagement, I also don't entirely think it's appropriate for people to be questioning a 17-year-old's sexuality or making it the internet's business even when this level of controversy is involved. Sometimes Ashley would post about choosing to date women over dating men because men were too forceful on her. Dating women because I'm uncomfortable with physical touch, and most boys want that. Finding out girls will guilt you to do things too. Reminder that even if you're dating someone, you're not obligated to do anything physical. By 2023 to mid-2024, Ashley's follower base exploded, mainly due to her consistent posting strategy of posting nearly 16 videos a week. By October 2024, Ashley amassed 2.5 million TikTok followers, all with high engagement rates. She also began associating with other TikTok teen influencers in the industry. By late 2024 to early 2025, Ashley solidified her teen influencer status. She had a cross-platform presence on both TikTok and Instagram. She also participated in high visibility collaborations with other famous content creators, as well as content house activities, which are becoming more and more predominant with teen influencers. She was attending influencer parties and flying across the country regularly, networking and taking part in collaborations. Yet by the summer of 2025, things quickly spiraled downhill. Had Ashley been running on empty, burnt out, yet carrying immense pressure? Had she been hiding her past trauma the entire time, saying online that she's better than her old self when the entire time she was really just pretending? In early July, Ashley made a TikTok about being sober. It seems like much of her audience didn't even really know beforehand that she had been struggling with addiction. Michael Barnes also made a TikTok with Ashley about the fact that he's an AA counselor and didn't know that Ashley was struggling with addiction. Ashley didn't tell him because she was scared. Mid-July, literally a day before the entire hotel incident was brought to light, Ashley made a TikTok video with the caption, "Hi pretties, I'm locking back in because why did I lose my spark to raise awareness and be a positive force online? I'm sorry, I'm embarrassed." And 2022 to 2023 Ashley just woke the F back up. Yet it seems like in the video itself, Ashley doesn't take any accountability for her change in attitude, nor do any real reflection. Blaming her ex-partner, it seems, names and her ex's best friends. At least that's my interpretation of this TikTok.
Need to do as I say. If you want to know what kind of person the person that you're dating is, or the person you're talking to, look at who their friends are. Look at who they surround themselves with. It doesn't matter how they act with you. If you're sitting here and you're like, oh, but my boyfriend, he's so nice, like, he's so kind, but it's so weird, you know, like, his friends are really disrespectful, like, his friends, like, bully other kids at our school. Honey, newsflash, your boyfriend's not different. Your girlfriend's not different. Your partner's not different. They are who they surround themselves with. Even if they don't show that side of them to you, that is exactly who they are.
But this would not be the first time that Ashley has had a hard time owning up to her actions. Before any of the recent events, there is a long documented history of Ashley making others uncomfortable, and many of these people came forward recently to talk about it. I think it's essential to talk about this for two reasons. First off, I wish I learned early on how to recognize the signs of someone who is consistently intruding on my boundaries, and how to immediately walk away from them the moment they made me uncomfortable. Second off, I want to share these stories because while they might not be as big of an incident as the hotel nightmare, as much as I hate coining that situation into a phrase, well, that is the point. When someone is pushing on your boundaries, it's important to remember that no interaction is small and insignificant, especially when someone's not letting you say no. Don't let someone try and gaslight you into thinking you're the problem, to try and guilt trip you into compliance, ever. Let's discuss Ashley's pattern of walking over other people, using her power, whether it's social media, being older than other people in the room, being the one with the money or the one with the keys to the hotel room, to either essentially or literally corner people. You have to wonder, how did Ashley learn these tactics? Is it something innate within these sorts of personality types? Something through, as many people have attested, her father always giving her whatever she wants. By the time Ashley was social media famous, there's been a few stories of her following various girls on social media and complimenting them on their looks, regardless of these girls' ages or sexuality. There's also allegedly been times where Ashley has traveled to meet these girls as well. One of the girls Ashley followed made a video about how Ashley would message her, trying to convince her to be with girls even though Ashley knew she was straight.
She would comment, if you like girls, I would be with you, or she would say, if I was a guy, I'd be with you. She sent me something, a TikTok, and she would said, you know, if you want, like, I'm always here to talk if you want to be with a girl. And I was like, dude, are you serious? I've told you no so many times, and I blatantly told her, like, no.
This took place allegedly 3 years ago when both girls were very, very young, and it shows a pattern over a long period of time of Ashley not respecting others' boundaries and not taking no for an answer. Another girl who Ashley allegedly pressured and didn't respect her boundaries spoke out as well.
Pressuring me, like, we should collab, we should do this, we should make TikToks. I have parties that we can go to. I had set boundaries with her. She would text me and be like, oh, you're so gorgeous, I wish you were my girlfriend, all this and all that. And I just felt really vulnerable with the whole situation.
There was an old post on the Ashley Snark subreddit that claimed a similar story. This was posted over a year ago. Hi, I noticed you post about Ashley Barnes, and my friend is currently at the same acting camp she's at, and apparently she makes everything very sexual with all the girls, touching them very weirdly and bending over in front of everyone on purpose, and making weird comments about everyone, even though she has a girlfriend. Ashley's first real relationship was with a girl named Allie. Allie has chosen to stay private through this whole situation, apart from posting cryptic messages online, like an Instagram story post with text that reads, "should have believed me." So out of respect for Allie, I don't want to dive into this relationship too much. Ashley posted a long video on her side of her and Allie's breakup story, and even from what Ashley posted, it honestly sounds like a very normal first relationship, when being with an online teen influencer is involved as well, and the two individuals live across the country from one another. The only thing I thought was interesting to add into this video is when Ashley talks about first speaking with Allie before they ever met in person, her dad encourages the relationship, telling Ashley she should go and meet Allie.
We were talking
on Snapchat for these 9 hours and got really close. And my dad was like, that girl that you're like snapping, like you guys should go meet up. My dad was like trying to encourage me. So I asked her if she wanted to meet up and she said yes.
This could be a totally normal thing, and I could be reading into it way too much. But that being said, especially Ashley being a young girl and potentially still exploring her sexuality, it feels like a parent figure should give their child space to do that, not be pushing them to go meet up with someone. Ashley wasn't even 16 allegedly at the time this was taking place, so it just feels weird for that to even be a focus of the family anyways, at least to me personally. Ashley's next public relationship was with a girl named Savannah. They created content together often, seemingly going to the same school and being able to film regularly. They even filmed their breakup video together and posted it on Ashley's TikTok.
We have broken up. We're still friends though. Part-time lover, full-time friends. She doesn't want to be on social media anymore. Anything else you'd like to say to them? Because I don't know if you're gonna like speak to them again.
Thank you for all the memories. I'll miss you guys.
That was cute.
But after the fact, Savannah posted a TikTok describing her relationship with Ashley. She claimed that Ashley did not care about how social media affected Savannah's health, the harsh comments about her appearance, the pressure, the views, all of that. Ashley cheated on Savannah at a party when alcohol was involved, which made alcohol and partying a sensitive topic.
I don't know for sure 100% what happened at this party. There was drinking involved. There was this girl there and they got together.
Ashley also periodically isolated Savannah from others, including her best friend. Ashley also coerced or got off on having Savannah kiss others at a Glow House party.
Basically, I was forced to kiss 2 other people at the Airbnb we were staying at for the Glow House party. I was super uncomfortable myself and weirded out by the fact that my girlfriend was okay with me kissing somebody else. As Melina said in her video, she got off on this.
Melina was friends with both Savannah and Ashley. Ashley made frequent TikToks about their friendship. After their friendship ended, Savannah and Melina made a video about their experiences with Ashley. While Savannah and Melina were friends, Ashley would consistently try and get the two of them to kiss. Even though oftentimes they were visibly uncomfortable, Ashley would continue to push them and push them.
I was sitting there and Savannah said something. I don't recall what it was, but I was like, stop before I kiss you, and we just giggled. Ashley turned and said, do it.
We kind of looked at each other like weird and confused. We're like, no, like, haha, that's like, we don't do that.
Yeah, like it's a joke. I have a girlfriend. Ashley then proceeds to
continue the joke
and beg us.
There was an instance even where Ashley offered Melina money to kiss Savannah. After they finally gave in, under immense pressure, Ashley then tried to get involved as well.
I made a joke and I said, $250. Give me $250. She said, okay.
Not thinking she would actually give Melina the $250.
We kept saying no. Took us 10 minutes to finally do it because we just wanted her to shut the f up. It doesn't end there. She then goes and says, do it again. I want to go in the back seat and I want to be in the middle. She turned to me and she goes, if she can kiss you, I can kiss you. And I was like, what? And she was begging. She was like, please, like, that's like hypocritical, like, why can't I kiss you? Savannah did it, like, she got to do it, I didn't, why can't I do it? I couldn't say yes or no because she turns to me, grabs me by the throat and the face like this, and pulls me in and holds my face there for 3 to 5 seconds. Which is different because when me and Savannah kissed, it was,
that's it.
That's it. She had to drive me home. She said she was gonna give me $750 for that.
It doesn't end there. While we were all back there, she proceeds to say, let's do a 3-way kiss.
At the end of the night, I received $950 in my Venmo account to kiss Ashley Barnes. And I feel like I was taken advantage of.
Polyamory is a thing. Open relationships are a thing. It's a different dynamic when you're actively pushing something onto people when you know it's not what they want. Intruding on their boundaries to see what you can convince them to do beyond what they're comfortable with. After covering so many of these topics, it's my opinion that there's certain types of people who want this sort of dynamic. They want to find a situation in which consent is not a part of the equation. equation, where they're actively pushing people outside of their comfort zone. Those people, to me personally, are the most concerning personality types. For Ashley to only be 17 and displaying this type of behavior is deeply troubling. Melina posted a screenshot of the Venmo transaction to prove that this kiss for money exchange took place. Melina, Savannah, Ashley, and their friend Echo were all traveling to LA for a Glow House party. While in LA, Ashley tried to coerce everyone into filming flirting content.
Echo was forced to flirt with Savannah, and Ashley wanted me to flirt with her. I voiced I have a girlfriend, and that's not okay. Echo voiced that she does not feel comfortable, she doesn't want to be posted in a bikini, and she asked multiple times to not have this happen, but Ashley kept insisting. She held it over her head that she paid for this Airbnb, and that this is her trip, and that we're just here because of her.
It got to the point where this person asked me and
Echo
to kiss, and obviously we were both like uncomfortable with it, but again, we really couldn't do anything. So we ended up doing it, and she said, "Oh, I didn't see, do it again." So we ended up doing it again. But after that, she also asked me and Melina to kiss again.
You guys don't really understand how terrifying it was to be in any of these situations.
They detailed Ashley's growing obsession with Capri on their trip to LA. For example, Ashley started wearing cheetah print because Capri supposedly liked cheetah print.
She told us that allegedly Capri said that he likes cheetah print. So the next night when we were at her uncle's house, she went by herself to the house in a cheetah print bra.
Ashley would also disappear to go to Capri's house every night, even though her girlfriend Savannah disapproved.
Every night she would leave and go to Capri's house. And one night we actually requested her to not go because we thought it was unfair that we couldn't go and that she was leaving us every night. But in her words, it's her trip.
I get a text that says, "I'm going to
Capri's house.
I love you, goodbye."
And
then
we hear the door slam shut.
After the subsequent breakup with Savannah, they detailed Ashley's substance abuse.
To be honest, I haven't seen Ashley sober in so long, and I've always voiced that to her that I think there's an issue happening and she needs to fix herself.
Echo, the friend who traveled to LA with everyone, corroborates this story. Echo was friends with Ashley through theater. She felt bad for her because of her past, but eventually this became a way to excuse Ashley's behavior. They would play Truth or Dare together, and Ashley would have everyone do things that they were uncomfortable with.
At first, I thought she was very cool, very talented, and honestly, I felt very bad for some of the stuff she had gone through in her life. I think a lot of people in her life felt bad for her, and I'm not saying that in a judgmental way. I'm just saying that it began to become an excuse for behavior that wasn't okay. So the first red flag for me was a game of Truth or Dare. We were in a small group, but the game got really weird really fast. People were being asked super uncomfortable questions, clothing was being asked to come off, and I remember feeling super uncomfortable, but I didn't grow up in an environment where I had played those games before, so I guess I thought it was normal and I was overreacting, so I felt like I had to play to fit in.
In these games of Truth or Dare, Ashley also had everyone hide their phones and turn them off so they couldn't record anything.
During this game, she asked us to hide our phones. She made us turn all of them off so we couldn't record or like take photos of anything.
Ashley has even self-admitted in content before that she plays extreme Truth or Dare with a no phone rule, showing that not only is this a pattern and one with documented evidence that Ashley herself has posted, but also something that Ashley has normalized. Looks like she's always been obsessed with extreme Truth or Dare. When we're playing Extreme Truth or Dare edition at a sleepover and someone breaks the no phone rule, like, bae, we can't have any evidence of the secret ... Echo spoke about the trip she went on with Savannah, Ashley, and Melina, where Ashley had them all do flirting content.
She wanted to film this TikTok where I would flirt with her partner and she would flirt with her friend, so it would be messy and do well and like it would look like we were cheating. And I immediately told her that not only was I uncomfortable with what I was wearing, but I was uncomfortable making the video, and I have text proof of that.
Truth or Dare was also played the same night.
That same night we were playing Truth or Dare again, and similar questions were coming up and similar dares were coming up, and I felt very pressured to do some stuff I didn't want to do. One of the questions asked was for me to kiss her partner. So we went through with the dare, and she said she wasn't looking and she had us do it again. And I pulled her partner aside that night, and we both agreed that we were super uncomfortable with the situation that we were put into. But later her friend pulled me aside and told me that she had been in a very similar situation once, and that made me feel less alone.
Ashley also made fake screenshots between Echo and Savannah, ones that looked damaging for both people.
The breakup dragged on for weeks. I kept hearing that she was threatening to post things to, quote, ruin me. She allegedly took her partner's phone and had made fake screenshots that she was going to post, And I cannot explain to you the fear that I felt knowing that someone with a big platform was going to use that to lie and try and ruin me over a situation that didn't happen.
Echo urged Ashley to take time off of social media and seek help.
I don't want clout. I don't want to cancel anyone. I just want to say that I think this creator should step off of social media and seek genuine mental and professional help. Social media pressure, views, followers, how your video is going to do doesn't excuse pushing people's boundaries and making people do things that they don't feel comfortable doing.
Another person, Danae, who went to Ashley's high school, spoke about how Ashley would continually ask invasive questions.
The influencer was asking me about, you know, very inappropriate questions about things that I may have, like inappropriate things that I, like asking me if I have inappropriate things that, you know, someone like me may have, if you guys kind of can pick up on that. Also asking inappropriate things like of what I've done.
In the video, they also speak about Ashley's drinking in high school at a party.
The influencer's kind of, you know, like getting to the point where it's like, okay, you're drunk. The influencer starts offering her a device, I don't know if I can say it on TikTok, saying like, take this, like, have it, like, I'm not gonna use it, so you should have it, like, just like.
Yeah, I kind of felt like forced to just take it. So, like, I just put it in my bag.
Ashley allegedly drove home after the party. Gabby, Savannah's friend, posted screenshots of some of Ashley's questionable Snapchat posts and behavior. Party is so fun. I wish I was sucking Savannah's D right now. Nah, taking one for the team and sucking D for ALK is insane. 17 years old. That's extremely tragic. We've come up with like 50 diff plans to secure ALK, and we were literally asked what we wanted and missed our chance. F. Look at how much higher my hands are, and then hers like really low. Friend Marleya accused Ashley of booking her a hostel to stay at when she was underage, and verified the claims of other friends.
At that point, I'm stranded. I don't know what to do. So she's like, yeah, I can't really afford anything, so I'm just gonna get you a hostel.
At the UCLA summer acting program, Ashley befriended a girl named Elle Stone. She essentially led her on at a really vulnerable time in Elle's life, when she was deeply questioning her sexuality.
We ended up kissing. She tried to get me to go to bed with her. I didn't want to. I was really excited, actually. I remember going back and calling to my friends, like, I was not in the right headspace.
Then, a few days later, Elle stumbled upon Ashley with a much older guy.
Very special things with another person. This guy was way older, and I was worried about her because she was answering her phone. I was knocking on her door. She opened it, and she was in a towel, and I was like, and then he was shirtless, and I was like, oh.
Elle also backed up others' claims that Ashley is struggling with addiction.
I will say, some of the things that other people have been claiming, like, I can 1010% back up the addiction stuff. I have prescription medication, and she tried to buy it for me, and I was like, no.
All of these concerning interactions essentially add up and escalate to the hotel incident. Now you can see that over time, Ashley Barnes has shown a consistent pattern of behavior. Not, of course, that that's necessary for victims to be believed. This pattern Ashley has even self-admitted to at times. And if people didn't speak out about what had taken place, who knew how far it could have escalated? Brad Mason was one of Ashley's best friends. They made a lot of content together and traveled together. Ashley first posted a TikTok with Brad on May 18th of 2025. Brad showed up to prom with Ashley because she was allegedly broken up with right before prom. It seemed like Brad was staying at Ashley's house during his time in New Jersey. The two of them would often film in Ashley's kitchen. Brad posted a TikTok of him leaving New Jersey and flying back home to Florida. Ashley commented using her backup account, "I'll fly you back out soon." Not much is known about Brad's home life, but him often making frequent trips out to see Ashley paying for his trips, him being dependent on her for where he stays. My initial reaction is that that wouldn't necessarily indicate the perfect home life on his part. Brad and Ashley have also continually made TikToks on how they're just friends and nothing more on both of each other's pages. From what's been posted publicly on social media, the impression was that the two of them definitely had a very close relationship, friendship. Brad posted a lot on his own pages. The sort of TikTok content that he posted was posts like, "Born in a generation that thinks doing the 7 deadliest sins are an accomplishment. Such a lustful time. The strongest bravest man in the Bible was killed by lust. Let that sink in. Capri Jones was another TikTok creator that Ashley was becoming friends with at the time. Capri Jones is a TikTok star who gained a significant following for his dances, lip sync, and comedic content. His fame on TikTok exploded in March of 2025 when he started posting content with Piper Raquel. Piper and Capri are now dating. Piper was also friends with Ashley, the two of them sometimes posting content together. But by July of 2025, not only would Ashley ruin her influencer relationships, but essentially her life as well. Allegations, detailed public accusations came to light, starting with Brad Mason. The drawer incident, the hotel nightmare, was posted on July 15th of 2025. On July 15th of 2025, Brad first posted a TikTok with text that read, "Storytime coming out about Ashley Barnes. Truth always prevails. I tried to let things go, but I just can't let her get away with what she did and still be a role model for younger girls, or let it happen to anyone else in the influencer industry." Then Brad posted a multiple-part explanation of the incident, speaking out. In part 1, Brad starts by saying that he was friends with Ashley Barnes, even though early on in their friendship, strange things occurred. Brad took a trip to LA with Ashley, where she flew him out and got a hotel for both of them. Brad also thinks that Ashley is deep down an amazing person, and he does hope that she gets help for what she's going through. But when they were in LA, Ashley kept pushing Brad's boundaries. This started with Ashley continuing to try to get Brad to post flirting content with her.
So, as you guys know, I was friends with Ashley Barnes. Some things, happened, like earlier on, I would say, that were kind of like weird. She's like, oh, let's post flirty TikToks. I'm like, it's like, I don't really do fake relationship kind of thing. Like, I don't want that image on me, She kept asking, okay, let's make flirty TikToks. I'm like, okay. I was visibly not really comfortable with it, and her roommate could tell. She kept making faces at me, whatnot.
Ashley's roommates at UCLA verified that Brad had told them he was very uncomfortable with this sort of shipping content that she was trying to get him to do.
Brad starts kind of expressing to us that he kind of he's not super comfortable with shipping content and doing stuff like that. So yeah, we had that kind of in the back of our heads. We didn't take it too serious, but we were just talking to him about it, regular conversation.
And she kept wanting to do these flirty things, and me as a person, I have a really, really hard time saying no.
Essentially, it feels like Ashley cornered Brad. She not only cornered him physically, but she made him feel financially and emotionally beholden to her, so that it was easier to continually intrude on his boundaries. It was easier to subconsciously guilt trip him, and he felt more uncomfortable saying no to her. In part 2, Brad speaks about how July 6th starts out as a normal day. They got coffee, they went to the mall, they filmed content. But when they all got back to the hotel, Ashley began spraying pheromones on the bed.
She starts spraying pheromone spray. So we spray she sprays pheromone spray all around the room.
Capri came to the hotel as well.
We had another TikToker. They're, I would say, very, very famous right now. Very public relationship, which is a key factor of the story. They're in a public relationship. They come over, and she was freaking out, trying to clean up the room. She's like, oh, I have to do this good. I need to get in with this said person. This whole time she's spraying pheromone spray. I'm like, okay. And she's like, oh, it's just I want the room to smell good. So I'm like, okay, it does smell good. This person comes here, and she goes downstairs to get them.
Ashley began pressuring everyone at the hotel to do various substances that it seems they were all way too young to be doing.
She starts pressuring everyone, which me as a person, I don't drink, I don't do bad stuff. And she's kind of doing oh, do this, do this, kind of pressuring more of them into doing stuff drinking stuff they shouldn't be drinking, and taking stuff they shouldn't be taking. And they were clearly very uncomfortable, very pressured.
It's not fully described what exact gummies Ashley forced everyone to take, though it's sort of inferred, as well as seen through the drawer video, that at least one of those gummies was libido gummies. Libido gummies are sex drive enhancing gummies. Dr. Tiffany Pham, an OBGYN and medical advisor for the female health app Flow Health, explained that there is a lack of robust robust research into the claims behind these supplements. In part 3, Brad speaks about how Ashley tries to clue Brad in on her plan to be with the famous TikToker, Capri.
She takes me to the bathroom at one point. She whispers in my ear like, hey, like, so-and-so, like, aren't, like, really, like, a thing. They're not, like, serious. And I'm like, oh, that's not, like, what I've been hearing, like, all night. She's like, oh, like, I'm gonna get with them. You can get with my roommate. Like, the whole time, this said person was like, oh, I love my significant other. Like, I love my significant other. Like,
Ashley's roommates also mentioned how Ashley was convinced that Capri and Piper's relationship was fake.
She starts basically begging Zizzy to get with Brad so that she could get with Capri. So I'm like, does he not have a girlfriend? Like, what are you talking about? And she's trying to tell us, like, oh no, like, their relationship is fake, it's for the views, like, it's influencer stuff.
She was like, trust me, I'm Piper's
yeah.
best friend. Trust me, it is all FOMO. It is all fake.
Yeah.
According to Piper and Capri themselves, in an interview with Rolling Stone, Piper admits that her and Capri's relationship started out just for social media. It was a social media relationship. It was for business. We were just working. We're so smart and we think about everything, she says. During April Fool's Day, Piper and Capri posted that Piper cheated.
wait, who was that other person then?
Piper ended up losing 100,000 TikTok followers. You have to think about social media. It's a job. You have to take risks. And that was a risk I was willing to take to popularize our Twitch. It did really, really well for both of us. Capri essentially embraced the notion that any publicity is good publicity. And Ashley may have believed that Piper and Capri's relationship was just for social media because, as they themselves have admitted, that's how it started. Their relationship is a combination. Blurred lines where they're creating fake drama on the internet and in a relationship in real life. This mirrors a lot of old YouTube couples prank channels that we've seen in the past. And unfortunately, we've seen many times that that doesn't end well when you're creating internet drama online and trying to have a healthy relationship in real life, especially when other people want to get involved. The roommate also spoke about how privately Ashley was trying to force her into being with Brad.
I'm not doing anything that's weird. I don't know. I don't want to.
Ashley suggests everyone play a game of truth or dare. As we know now, a pattern when it comes to Ashley. But since everyone's uncomfortable, they keep saying truth. So Ashley changes the game.
And then she kind of like says like, oh, like, let's play truth or dare. I'm like, okay, this is getting weird. We all like kind of like see like, okay, something's really, really off here. We all just keep like saying, oh, truth, truth, truth. She's like, okay, this is getting boring. Let's play dare or drink. She kept wanting people to make out with everyone. And we're like, no.
Brad then says that he and Capri dare Ashley to make out with her roommate to rage bait her. I've listened to this a few times and personally, I don't understand the context or meaning of this. I understand they were all in an uncomfortable situation, but if you know that someone will do anything, you probably shouldn't encourage them to make out with someone knowing they'll probably do it and that that person doesn't want to make out with them. Brad then says that Ashley grabbed her roommate's face and forcefully made out with her.
We dare you guys to like, you know, like make out with, like, trolling, obviously. Like, we didn't actually mean it. But like, we didn't actually mean it. And she's like, oh, we have to do it. So Ashley like grabs her by the face and starts like making out with her. She like grabs her by the throat and pulls her back in, and she's like, what? Like, she's like clearly does not want this to happen. Clearly super uncomfortable. And then we obviously fell back because we didn't think she was gonna do that. Like, that was totally out of pocket.
Her roommate then dared her to stop asking people to make out, and Ashley said no.
Her roommate's like, Ashley, I dare you to stop asking people to make out. And she's like, no, I'm drinking.
Ashley then puts an X mark on her roommate's chest with a pheromone roller.
And this whole time she's spraying more pheromone spray. She gets this roller out, like it's like a roller pheromone, and she like puts like an X thingy like on her roommate's chest. And like at this moment, like I'm like right next to this person, I'm like, bro, like I think we're gonna get like, you know, can't like say the word on here, but it starts with an R, ends with ED.
Pheromones are chemicals that animals use to communicate. Insects like ants and bees rely heavily on pheromones to organize colony activities. However, many animals also use pheromones for mating and to attract partners. People have tried to replicate the effect through pheromone sprays. Despite the marketing behind pheromone sprays, there's no scientific data supporting the theory that pheromone perfumes attract sexual attention, all on their own. In fact, the very existence of pheromones in humans remains uncertain. According to the National Library of Medicine, the effects are more psychological than anything. Ashley kept trying to get Brad to have more gummies when he expressed he did not want to.
Oh, take this gummy, like shoving it in my face. I'm like sitting back, like on my phone, like, no, like I'm good. She whispers in my ear, she's like, Brad, like just act like you take a bite, like you just throw it on the floor, like I just really want this person to take it so I can get with them. And then I'm like, no. And then she literally says, oh my gosh, Brad took it. Now it's your turn.
In part 5, Brad spoke about how Ashley kept trying to essentially force herself on Capri.
She tries like forcing herself on this person. This person gets up to get out of the way and like kind of like not pushes her, but like, you know, like stay away, like kind of like that. And then this person was like, we're great friends. Like you do not want to do this. Like I love my significant other, you know. That kind of thing.
The roommate leaves the situation.
And then this person's like, bro, I don't want to leave you here. Like, I feel so bad. Like it's like basically like saying it because it's not safe.
Eventually, Capri leaves and Brad is alone in the hotel with Ashley. Ashley begins asking Brad why he doesn't like her anymore. And if she lost weight, would he like her?
Both of them leave and then I'm in the room by myself. I'm like, bro, like, what do I do? Like, I get into the bed and I like trying to go to sleep. And then the whole time she's like, Brad, like, why don't you like me like you did when I was like, when you were 13, and she's like, am I not skinny enough? Like I'll lose 10 pounds right now. And she like gets like into my bed. But at this point, like I like completely kind of like black out.
Ashley allegedly began to touch herself in front of Brad. Brad went to sleep and woke up to concerned texts the next afternoon. He ultimately thinks Ashley needs medical help.
They're all texting like, are you good? What happened? Like what happened? But I text them like, did this like actually like really happen? And they're like, yes, something's genuinely wrong with her. In the nicest way possible, something that she needs to seek medical help.
In part 7, Brad discusses how the next day he decides he needs to leave the situation and that it's not a safe place for him to be in the hotel with Ashley. When Brad goes to the hotel to gather his stuff, that's when he finds the drawer with all of the items within it, the suspicious things. That's at least the drawer where Ashley got all of the things that she used the previous night and may show what her intentions were and where she wanted the night to lead.
I go back to the hotel, pack up all my stuff, I leave, and then while I'm looking for my wallet, and I have this stuff on video too, by the way, like I'm not just making this up, I have like we like go into this drawer next to like the bed. She has 2 pairs of like handcuffs, not like normal ones, like fluffy ones, like, you know, handcuffs like that. She has like, you know, this kind of like gel, like it's called it's like kind of like a happy ending gel. She has like a vibrator. She has those gummies.
In part 8, Brad talks about calling Michael, Ashley's father, and how hard it was to relay the situation to her father.
I kind of like explained the whole situation and he was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that happened. Like, this is so unlike Ashley. She calls him bawling. She's like bawling her eyes out.
Brad goes to the mall to make content and Ashley calls him and apologizes, claiming that her substance abuse is the reason for her behavior.
The dad kind of like tells me like, hey, like you need to call her. She needs to hear what she did from you. And so I call her and she's like bawling her eyes out. She's like Brad, like I'm so sorry. Like I've been addicted to, like I've been like, you know, on like basically.
Yet still on the call, Ashley was speaking about wanting to go to more parties in LA as opposed to getting help.
I want to go to Paul's party, or should I go home and just not go? I'm like, you need to go home. Like you need to get help. Addiction is serious. You need to go home and get help. What she did was insanely messed up, like illegal. To be technical, you know, it's SA.
Brad spoke about how Ashley went to rehab for only a few days, then flew back out to LA to attend the party that she spoke about previously. She also completely ignored Brad and acted like nothing happened, a pattern that she seems to do when she feels guilty about her behavior.
She was back home for a few days. She went to like rehab for 3 days. Flies back out. She goes to Paul's party. Keep in mind, this whole time, she's not texting me, nothing. Like, we have not spoken like a week. She acted like everything's A-okay. Nothing like that she did was wrong. She didn't text me.
You can also see on Ashley's own TikTok page her own posts about attending Paul's party. In part 9, Brad answers frequently asked questions. He says he posted this series because he essentially didn't want her to get away with this and repeat the same patterns onto other people.
I know this is probably gonna really, really ruin things for her, but I simply cannot just like let her get away with like what she did. I don't want someone to be praised when they did something so horrible.
He also showed the video of the drawer as essentially evidence.
So right here is me finding like in the drawer the next morning. This is Liquid Love. Means that's orgasm gel. That's lube. That is more like of those gummies. That's a vibe. By the way, guys. more of those things like handcuffs, and then she has pheromone spray. That's what she kept spraying all day. And then like there's like one of those in there that's like a stick that she like rubbed on her roommate.
Brad also posted messages that certainly confirm a lot of what had happened. Brad posted screenshot messages speaking with Michael Barnes, Ashley's dad. They talked about the night before, Ashley drinking, and her creepy actions.
This is some of the text between me and the dad after what she did. This is him basically like saying that she knows what she did. Like, she has fully admitted that she knows what she did. She's embarrassed and like remorseful. That she knows she was being creepy, by the way. So this is like her admitting to it.
Brad shared Snapchat messages between the two roommates who were there, one who left much earlier before everything had happened, in which the two spoke about the incident.
And then this is her saying that's so bad, like what happened. And this is her this is her like saying that she tried forcing these like gummies in her mouth. And then this is her like saying, like confirming that she gave her the dare, like, stop making people try to do stuff, and she said she would rather drink than do that anyways.
There was more proof messages posted between Ashley's dad and Brad. The dad becomes extremely manipulative, in my opinion. He starts to accuse Brad of using the situation to garner more followers and asking him over and over again to keep it private. Brad has the great response that if he wanted more followers, he would keep it private and keep hanging out with Ashley, who has a large platform that he could have essentially kept hanging out with her and tried to essentially gain followers off of. It is a mistake she made that she's correcting. A true friend would not take advantage of a friend's darkest moment for their benefit. I really hope that's not what you're doing. Please keep anything that happened between you two, okay? I'm not using it for my personal growth whatsoever. If I wanted more followers, I would not say anything about it, and I would keep hanging out with her. What she did is not okay in any way, and now people are coming out and telling me this stuff that she did to them as well. She will continue doing it if somebody doesn't say something. What she did was truly disgusting, and the fact that she tried doing stuff to her best friends to take advantage of them is not okay. And the father's messages continued to be very manipulative. When Brad raised concerns over Ashley's constant partying, over seeking help, which would reasonably make one feel hopeless that keeping things private would yield any positive results, because that person isn't going and seeking help. The father just tried to accuse Brad of having equally bad rumors about him as well, almost as if he was threatening him against speaking out and justifying Ashley's behavior. She needs support, not hate, gossip, and drama. Please do not make anything public. She said she went to rehab, but as soon as she got back to LA, she immediately started drinking again at Paul's party. Brad, there are plenty rumors about you being totally inappropriate and non-consensual with people, and Ashley never once took them seriously. It's not your job to out Ashley. Using LGBTQ terms like outing someone for an essay allegation, to me, is manipulative and disgusting. She's a good person and is working on getting better. How is it possible you are so angry that you want to hurt her so much? She's been so good to you. Using all of the things Ashley did, flying Brad out, getting him a hotel against him after she SA'd him, again, disgusting. You can see where Ashley gets this from, in my opinion, as I've tried to showcase in this video without making any direct claims, and supported you and giving you money. And this is how you repay her. This man has an Ivy League education in psychology. Keep that in mind. And this is how he's speaking to teenagers instead of getting his daughter help and taking her to rehab. Please step back and sit down. She needs help, and if you can't help, then at least don't hurt her more. Of course, I would understand a parent wanting privacy for the sake of their children so that they could immediately focus on getting their children help and recovery without any outside noise. But that's not what happened. Michael Barnes didn't do that. Ashley wasn't getting immediate help and recovery. Make no mistake, Michael Barnes knew about Ashley's addictions for a long time. Ashley posted about her addictions on social media with him involved before any of this happened. Long before. And still, he let her fly solo out to LA, get in a hotel room alone with her friends, have access to substances, and then fly out there again for an influencer party. Getting her help and recovery is not his concern. That's my opinion, and it's my opinion that it's very clear from all of his actions. Also, the tone of Michael's messages doesn't come off like he's concerned for Ashley and focused on her health and recovery. It comes across like he's concerned with trying to control the narrative, as well as trying to control Brad's actions. And I think it's very telling because you can see where Ashley got her own behavior from. After Brad's series, Capri posted his own series from his own perspective, backing up Brad's claims. Capri claimed that when Ashley texted him to hang out, he initially thought it was to help her not be a third wheel, but that it was just as friends.
So this all started at around midnight. Ashley texted me and she was like, basically that she's gonna be a third wheel and she wants me to come so like me and her could like talk and like hang out. That's what I insinuated.
Capri breaks down the entire scene at the hotel, describing everyone who was initially there when he showed up. Ashley, her 2 roommates, him, and Brad.
We walk upstairs and there's just Brad, her roommate, and then this other girl and her. So it's 3 girls and 2 boys.
Ashley kept offering Capri substances, and the consistent pressure, probably as well as the environment of so few people, made him feel very pressured.
There's drinks there and stuff. She offers me a drink. I'm like, nah, I'm good. You know, I'm driving and stuff. Throughout the night, she's like pressuring me to drink. I'm not gonna lie, I got peer pressured, okay?
In part 2, Capri talks about how one of the roommates leaves, and then Ashley starts bringing people into the bathroom and having one-on-one conversations with them.
She leaves 2v2. And Ashley's doing a lot of taking people to the bathroom and talking to them, taking people to the bathroom and talking to them. And I'm just sitting here like, what's going on?
When Capri was unsure if he should drive home, Ashley tries to convince him to sleep in her bed.
Him and this girl are gonna be on it. Like me and you are gonna be in my bed. I'm like, no, we're not. No, we're not.
In part 3, Capri talks about Ashley spraying pheromone spray.
So after she changes, she goes into her drawer and starts spraying a spray. So while she was spraying it, I go over to Brad and I'm like, what's she spraying? And he's like, it's pheromone spray. I'm like, what? And after that, she grabs something else from her drawer and it's these gummies. She basically shoves one into her roommate's mouth, basically telling her, oh, okay, take this, take this. Then she goes over to Brad, basically shoves one in his mouth, and she's like whispering something to him. She comes in, I grab the gummy, I'm like this, and like I throw it out.
Capri says he texts Piper after feeling uncomfortable with the situation.
I go to the bathroom, grab my phone, and I call my girlfriend like 4 times. She doesn't answer because it's like 3 in the morning. So I text her a bunch. I'm texting her, please make up an excuse so I can get out of here because I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I need to get out of there.
In part 4, Capri discusses speaking with Brad and realizing both of them are deeply uncomfortable with the situation.
I'm scared too. I don't want to leave you here, bro. Like I was about to dip, but he was like, please don't leave me here, bro. Please don't leave me here. And I was like, okay, bro, I'll stay, but nothing is happening, dude. Nothing is happening. We see clear what she's trying to do, and we're like, nothing is happening. He still has to live there because she paid for his flight, she paid for his hotel. He is in her custody right now.
They play Truth or Dare and dare Ashley to kiss her roommate.
I think one of us are trolling. We're trolling, okay? Me and Brad are trolling, so we dare Ashley to make out with her roommate because we're like, no way. Everybody but Ashley unanimously decides not to play the game anymore. And Ashley's just heartbroken. She's literally asking me why I don't want to kiss her. And I'm literally looking her in the eyes and I'm like, I have a girlfriend. You're not gonna ruin that for me. I'm telling it to her because she's obviously not clear-minded. I grab her, I put her in her bed, put the covers over. Boom. Problem solved, but she's still going.
Capri then makes a post saying that once he hits 6.7 million followers, then he'll make part 6 and 7, which to me, at surface value, that makes me a little bit uncomfortable.
Once I hit 6.7 million followers, I'm gonna be posting part 6 and 7.
Then part 6 comes out. Capri says that after he got out of the situation, out of the hotel, he calls his friends and tells them everything.
I'm driving home and I immediately call my friends, telling them the whole story. And in the middle of the story, I break down and I start crying because I'm like, I've never dealt with something like this before. I'm so grateful I had Brad there for the experience because I don't know what I would do without him.
The next day, Capri says that him and Brad got in contact through Snapchat.
Next morning, I check my phone because Brad said something about adding me. Check my ads on Snapchat, he added me. I press it, long message about what happened that night. But I read it and I just felt so bad for him. And he was like, he texted me, he was like, we do something today so like I don't have to be with Ashley because I have a flight in the morning so I could just hang out with you all day and then I could go to sleep and then leave the next morning.
Something I will say I do think is interesting is that through this situation, Capri has been promoting his Snapchat quite frequently, and Brad, I believe, just recently started promoting his Snapchat very frequently as well. Afterwards, everyone who's involved in this incident at the hotel posted a group TikTok.
What's up guys, my name's Capri. As you may know, this is Brad
I'm Susie, I'm the roommate. And I'm Gigi, I was one of Ash's friends.
And the people you see sitting here are the people that were in the hotel room on July 7th. And we have a lot we would like to talk about.
A common question asked to everyone is, why didn't you leave earlier? So they all explained why they felt like leaving was a non-option, mainly because it felt like abandoning the other people there.
If I'll leave, you'll leave, and we didn't want to leave you. But every time I would try and get out my phone and call an Uber, she would take my phone and put it under her ass, so I couldn't really do anything.
They all explained how initially they didn't even really understand what Ashley was doing. They were just confused because she was their friend and she was acting strange and out of character, which I feel like is a common experience for those who experience this type of trauma, especially from someone they trust. You can easily explain it away initially, disassociate, and it takes a while to process what happened and how that person might have impeded on your boundaries to the fullest extent.
Now, a couple days later, you understand like definitely what she was trying to do, especially after hearing everybody's experiences. Also, a lot of people were coming out for Brad for posting the video of the drawer. I had no idea what was fully in the drawer. All I knew that was in the drawer was handcuffs and the gummies. After seeing Brad's video, I was like, oh my gosh.
Brad claimed in the video that Ashley's intentions were to blackmail Capri for clout.
Like even before Capri came over, you guys can like vouch for this, she was running around cleaning the whole hotel. She's like, I need to get this thing good. Like this is my way into like, you know, getting into the streams and all that stuff. So her plan was to kind of, you know, use him and get with him so that way he'd use it as blackmail. So she would like, you know, tell Piper, hey, like Capri cheated. So she was gonna blackmail him to get all the streams and then like, you know, the YouTube videos and just basically blackmail him for clout.
The roommate did say that when she asked Ashley why she was doing this, Ashley said that she doesn't really care about Capri, that she's lesbian and she wanted the roommate.
She was like, no, you don't get it, Susie, I'm a lesbian, I want you. I don't even want Capri, I just need to be in the videos.
Lucy Noel, another influencer, came forward and spoke about her interaction with Ashley at Paul's party, claiming that Ashley was just very touchy with her.
She goes to use the bathroom, but she kind of like grabbed my waist. It was kind of strange. It was like, that was like kind of a red flag to me. And I told her that I had a really bad case. Cause like, I don't believe in TMI, okay girl? She looked me up and down and she like stepped closer to me and she was like, I can fix that for you. And like put her hand near.
Some people have claimed that Lucy has lied about parts of her story. For example, when Lucy claimed that she never smoked, a friend, probably now former friend of Lucy's, claimed that Lucy did smoke in the past and that she had always normalized those sorts of interactions with friends.
First time we hung out, we like got changed in front of each other. Pretty sure we showered in front of each other. We were very like open with each other, like from the get-go. Like she's a very open person. This is the photo that Lucy posted on her private story. And in her TikTok, she was saying that she did not smoke, she did not drink, she doesn't like condone any of that. Me and Lucy smoke together. We've been lit.
I feel like this is a nuanced thing and very situationally dependent. For example, Lucy maybe has family members that watch her videos and didn't want to admit that she smokes. She could also be okay with friends being touchy or exposing themselves and not someone she meets at a party right away. Ashley was claiming publicly to be sober this entire time. There was also video evidence of her drinking at Paul's party.
Here's the video right here. He said that she was sober while this happened, which is completely a lie.
A day before Paul's party, Ashley flew into LA to go to rehab, but her dad pulled her out of it so she could go to this party. Her friends claimed Michael clearly uses her for money.
Ashley was in New Jersey and she flew in to California a day before Paul's party. Keep in mind, she was supposed to be sent off to rehab. I found out that her dad's one of the head of the AA meetings and he took her out of the rehab. He talked to the head just so she can go to Paul's party. Michael Barnes uses her for her money. All he cares about is the money she makes. That is their income.
I'm telling you right now, if money is involved with
Michael Barnes,
only chases that. He honestly he could care less about any other person, but if he sees dollar signs, he will chase after that.
This is a clear example of addicts and enablers, in my opinion. At Paul's party, according to Melina, Ashley tells her that she's going to drink. Melina gets upset knowing something's wrong and tries to intervene.
Ashley walks up with Lucy. She's telling me on how she's gonna drink tonight, and it's fine. I start yelling at her at Paul's party. I sat her down for 25 to 35 minutes, telling her how what she's doing to her body is not okay, how she's going to lose her friends, and she's already losing them. Keep in mind, at this point, I do not know about the Brad situation. I wouldn't have been talking to her. I am screaming at her. She is crying.
Ashley's dad also reached out to her friends on her behalf. Another possible example of him enabling her, which may not be helping her own up to her behavior.
Her dad reached out to me the other day saying, "Hi Melina, I'm sure you're aware of the bomb Brad dropped. Right now, Ashley could really use a friend since Brad so badly betrayed her. If there's any chance you could reach out, it would mean the world to her. She betrayed everyone in this situation. She's a sexual abuser, and her dad's condoning this."
After everything that took place, Ashley disappeared from social media, ceasing posting online. She claimed to others that she entered rehab. By the end of July, Ashley lost over 200,000 followers.
A little bit of context. So basically, Ashley Barnes is a huge influencer who's lost over 200,000 followers. She's 17, so my age, very, very young.
Isn't it satisfying? It's been brought into question how far offline the real-world consequences will go for Ashley Barnes. Melina herself has claimed that the police may be contacted. Many of the comments brought up the lack of physical evidence overall, and how hard that may or may not be to overcome within the justice system. Though that being said, there are numerous testimonies that all say very similar things. Though the problem is, time and time again, victims are put through immense turmoil when it comes to a legal process, and sometimes to maybe many times, oftentimes, don't end up with a guilty verdict that brings them justice. I also strongly believe that legal accountability is important. It's an important learning lesson. That's how you learn. You have to have the accountability part. You have to have the consequences for your actions. Ashley's sister posted a response on her TikTok story. "I am putting this out there. I just moved to Florida. I just found out this recently. Please do not put this on me. When I just recently found out about this and am trying to understand the situation. I barely talk to my family at the moment and don't want to be associated with that." Ultimately, Ashley's attempt to coerce Capri into taking a gummy without his consent, as well as Brad, as well as others in the hotel, especially if it were to alter their bodily functions, can be classified legally as sexual assault. After Capri went home and Ashley turned her attention to Brad, who claimed that Ashley touched herself in front of him, well, that is also considered a form of sexual assault, sexual harassment, or indecent exposure, depending on the jurisdiction and circumstances. In response to the hotel incident, many questioned why the victims didn't just remove themselves. When someone is being groomed or preyed upon, their response is often more complex. The continual notion that a victim could have just walked away shows a fundamental misunderstanding of how manipulation, power dynamics, and trauma responses work. Outsiders who often view a situation think that danger is clear-cut and easy to perceive, and that people should immediately go into fight or flight. Some people have also questioned why the boys involved didn't find a different hotel to stay at, but they're 17 years old. The minimum age to book a hotel in LA is typically 18 years old. You have to wonder whether conscious or unconsciously, Ashley was aware of the fact that Brad especially was trapped in that dynamic. While Brad could have contacted a family member or a close friend to help him, it was 3 a.m. at the time this was happening, and everything was slowly escalating. Initially, they could have felt like they didn't want to bother people, that the situation wasn't that serious. They justified their friend's behavior, even though internally they knew that the situation was making them uncomfortable. This is also a common thing for many victims. Capri mentioned that he was staying at Piper's home and felt that he had no control over who he could take home. That also makes me ask the question, where was Capri's parents at the time? And where was Piper's mom at the time? What is Capri's relationship with his parents? And what's Piper's relationship with her parents? Capri's relationship with Piper's parents? To where no one felt like they could ask any adult in the situation to intervene. I think it's interesting that every single person involved, even though they're minors, felt as if they were adults in the situation, and that they had to handle it as adults and could not involve the real adults, their parents, in all of this. I wonder if this is because all of them are social media influencers who have been paying their bills for a long time already, who have been essentially parentified, adultified for a long time, treated as if they're adults, when really they're not mentally able to handle any of of this. All of this is traumatizing. And on top of that, these TikTokers went online and shared all of their trauma of what they experienced because that's so normal for them. They share their daily lives already. So they talked about all of this before they really had a chance to mentally process anything. On TikTok, creators are paid through the TikTok Creators Rewards Program. In the US, TikTok users can apply for the Creators Fund if they're a legal resident of the US, at least 18 years old, their account has at least 10,000 authentic followers, and their videos have received at least 100,000 authentic views in the last 30 days. And they're in good standing with the TikTok user terms and community guidelines. Hootsuite detailed that users can expect to receive 2 to 4 cents per 1,000 views. This means that an influencer pulling in 1 million views a month may be able to add $40 to their bank account. It's not exactly quit your day job money, wrote Ryan McPhee. However, creators like Capri, who average millions of views per video and post almost multiple videos a day, make substantially more money. Therefore, making the conscious decision to post a multiple part series about the night at the hotel means knowing that that multiple part series would be seen by millions of people. It'd become a hot topic. It would make a lot of money. Not only are teenagers online posting their daily lives, monetizing it instead of living it, but it's becoming more normalized for teenagers to make the choice to monetize their own trauma, making what they may perceive as a strategic choice for viewership and engagement. Capri telling people he won't post another part in this series about Ashley Barnes until he hits 6.7 million followers, or posting multiple 3-minute series, even though TikTok allows you to post up to 60 minutes now, so you could essentially post everything into one part. And it's also very much possible that these decisions aren't being made by Capri himself, for example, but whatever adult is managing him. To be monetized on TikTok, you have to be at least 18 years old. But these are all teenagers that we've been talking about. So who is behind their monetized accounts? Who is receiving these funds? For Ashley, I think we know who. For Piper Raquel, I think we know who. For Capri, I think we can assume who. And who is telling them what to post in order to maximize their revenue, their engagement, their money? My theory is it's all the parents. And will any of these teenagers see a dime? Capri banned after Ashley Barnes video. When Capri's account was back up, he went around essentially saying that Ashley Barnes used to say that she could get a TikTok account banned for $3,000. He's saying that because apparently Ashley had been bragging to friends about how she can remove accounts for $3K. Ashley's roommate Zizi was also banned. Both Capri and Brad have been accused of clout chasing after the Ashley Barnes incident for social media engagement and followers. Brad possibly clout chasing for Snap follows, Brad advertising his Snapchat. So Brad posted this video to his TikTok. If you haven't seen it, he basically says there's more he needs to say about the Ashley Barnes situation. So therefore, he needs everyone to add his Snapchat because TikTok will take down what he needs to say. Anyways, it's been like 2 days and he's posted nothing. There was even one Snapchat he posted the day he said to add his Snapchat with a pic of him saying videos tomorrow. Well, you guessed it, no videos when tomorrow came. Maybe I'm overreacting. His videos don't seem to have ads on them, so he's likely not making money off Snapchat, but maybe just wants the views? Or there might be a certain threshold of followers, subscribers you need on Snapchat to monetize your story on there. Honestly, it seems very fishy to me. Maybe I'm crazy. I do know it's been said that Snapchat has one of the most lucrative monetization programs. The one thing I do think is kind of strange regarding the clout chasing topic is Brad and Capri are both influencers. Are they not allowed to post content after this incident, or they're perceived as clout chasers? If you're a victim of something, after that takes place, you're not allowed to profit or receive a following from that news being spread of that situation, or all of a sudden you're a clout chaser. I feel like two things can be true at the same time. You can have great intentions to be wanting to spread awareness of a situation and encourage others to come forward and share their stories, and at the same time you can be an influencer and not be a clout chaser. I feel like if we start shaming people for that, it could go down a very dark road. That being said, most recently Brad did post a video that seemed to accuse Ashley of being on what he said was H, saying or alluding that she was on harder substances.
She's now in like a mental hospital, like she's actually in rehab. That's what I was told by close friends of hers, that she is in rehab. That's why she's off social media. But I was also informed that allegedly she was not just on like, you know, she was on much harder things. that start with an H.
By this point, continually saying what substances Ashley is on, her addiction and recovery, and bringing that up into the public when she's chosen to be offline, that feels a little bit inappropriate in my opinion. I also think that a lot of influencers feel the pressure to post a lot, have constant updates, and this could potentially be a literal trauma from everyone involved. You should not be posting about this online, giving updates not only about your own life, but someone else's situation. In my opinion, not only should have Ashley logged off and deal with her shiz, but everyone involved. Brad should have also logged off after he posted the initial rundown of the situation and what happened to spread awareness so other people knew. He should have logged off, went to therapy, and dealt with what happened. Because maybe also he's in turmoil, dealing with everything that happened, coping, and not doing it in a healthy way. Piper Raquel was not at the hotel, but made a video about the incident. But what I can't stop thinking about is if I stayed up for 20 more minutes to get his 4 calls and 15 text messages, I could have helped him. Not being funny, but weren't her and Capri the ones downplaying Sophie Fergie's essay on stream? Sophie Fergie is the one who claimed that Piper Raquel's mom essayed her, and saying the people that came out about it were lying. But now it's serious because it happened to her BF. The only reason she's posting about it is because the story about Ashley blew up. I don't want to downplay Capri's experience either, but him getting people to add his snap to see the story so he can get paid is so odd in a situation like this. I guess I'm a little bit confused because Brad and Capri are the ones that Ashley essayed. People are upset at Ashley for essaying someone, yet they're also upset at the ways in which Brad and Capri are posting about it. And I guess my question is it justifiable to be upset at victims for the ways in which they share and possibly monetize their trauma? Or should we look at the societal effects in which social media platforms may enable and encourage teenagers, teen influencers to monetize their own trauma? After everything transpired online, people began taking photos of random Ashley Barnes sightings. Ashley Barnes was spotted at the airport after being kicked out of UCLA. Ashley was also spotted at Target.
Yo, I found Ashley Barnes at the store. She's literally in Target right now. So are you gonna speak out on what happened, or are you just gonna keep on shopping like nothing's wrong? Because he's assaulted over 10 people. That is disgusting.
Oh, nothing. Just Ashley working out like nothing happened. Ashley's citing TikToks are low-key weird. Is it just me, or are these TikToks kind of weird? Like, don't get me wrong. I agree that she should be acknowledging the issue and apologizing to her victims. But at the end of the day, she's also still human. Do you expect her to just lock herself in her room for the rest of her life? Also, the way people basically track her down, like showing up to her house, is weird. I don't even care. Like, no, she doesn't deserve anything good, but doesn't mean you have to stalk the girl down and make her family's lives horrible too, you know? I know people might say, well, she should be in rehab, but you also need to remember long-term rehab isn't the only way people recover. There's also outpatient programs, counseling, therapy, support groups, etc. Essentially, this is an invasion of privacy of a young minor, and people think it's okay because she did something wrong. But no, that's still very much not cool. On top of that, though there's been lots of stories that people have posted of their interactions with Ashley, there's also been many fake stories people have posted of fake interactions and screenshots they claim that they had with Ashley. Ash, so now that I've mentioned it, you have to send me a video of the same thing I did, or else. You know I'm famous, so I can make social media hate you. My dad will text you soon. Fake stories, WTF? This is wildly inappropriate. Ashley has already done very upsetting things that we can criticize her for without needing to make up fake stories or reach. Things like this take credibility away from the real people affected. People also posted AI videos of the hotel incident with the text, "What in the Diddy?" continually comparing Ashley to Diddy. The Diddy jokes are already distasteful, but making AI videos of real people's trauma is so icky, even if Brad commented LMAO. Why are people comparing Ash to Diddy? Same dudes vibes from the Diddy Barnes drive-by video. Childish as F. Is it even her being affected by this at this point, or her family and neighbors? The Glow House clapped back at influencer for this, and it seems like other TikTok influencers and creators made odd posts at times, maybe possibly for their own promotion. Anyone else think this is odd? Everyone but Ashley Barnes are allowed to purchase My Lashes, and online people continue to comment that they want a documentary out of the situation, similar to the Piper Raquel documentary. Is this weird to anyone else? Netflix, Victims of Ashley Barnes 2026, commenting to be in the documentary. Yes, all the people wanting a documentary are so strange. Let's not make these people go onto a camera and talk about the situation solely for entertainment purposes. And again, all of them are teenagers. But there's very little laws to protect teenagers and minors online, and the laws that are being proposed are very questionable. Recently, Ashley Barnes posted a response, her side of what had happened, except she didn't exactly respond to the hotel incident itself or what took place that night. That being said, Ashley did speak on her leading up to that night and vaguely spoke on her family life and her father, as well as what misinformation she felt had been spread online. Whether this was Ashley Barnes deflecting from her own personal responsibility or taking ownership of how her life had led up to this point is essentially up to you to decide, but also up to Ashley to determine through the changes she makes from here on out. Ashley starts off her video by explaining why she chose not to speak on the allegations for a period of time, stating she wanted to deal with the situation privately and go to a rehab facility before speaking publicly. Ashley also vaguely states that she had to push to get herself into a rehab facility, but doesn't clarify if that was because it was difficult to find a facility itself, or if it was because of a parent of hers that was pushing back on her going to rehab.
Us, including myself, are still minors. A lot of people were complaining as to why I haven't said anything online about the allegations being made against me, and there were multiple reasons for this. I wanted to handle this situation maturely and deal with it how it should be dealt with offline. Also, I was off my phone for a while because I was inpatient at rehab, which is something that I had to push to get myself into.
Ashley seemed afraid that after speaking publicly, she was going to fall right back into old habits.
I wanted to make sure that enough changes had been made to ensure that I don't fall back into old habits or that all of this was for nothing.
I think it's interesting that this was her immediate fear. I've personally covered a lot of apology videos. I think oftentimes how an influencer conducts their apology video can be really telling. Many influencers, as you probably know, will immediately start crying. They'll talk about how hard this experience has been on them, completely victimizing themselves the entire time. Some influencers appear almost angry and enraged that they even have to make the video. Others just completely defeated, kneeling at the altar to confess their sins. And oftentimes, what this influencer decides to say first in their apology video is what's predominantly on their mind, the biggest concern of theirs through the entire situation. So I do find it interesting that Ashley's first big concern was that she was worried about falling back into the same old pattern with social media. Of course, it should be noted that that seemed to be her concern over the harm she did to others, but also it seems that she was somewhat aware that social media was a part of her personality. It was a part of this harmful cycle that ultimately led her to where she ended up. Ashley claimed what many people had theorized, that there were people that made videos about different interactions with her after the virality of Brad's video, who Ashley claimed were either greatly exaggerating their interactions with her or had never even met her before.
Many inaccurate terms are being thrown around to describe events that do not live up to such titles. I'm not about to sit here on video and disprove the many people who have just blatantly lied on my name in order to gain clout. Although I haven't seen every single thing posted about me, I have seen names of people who I've never met claiming that they are a victim of me. I ask you guys not to believe every single thing that you see online because unfortunately the truth is often the least popular narrative, and the things that people will do for likes is insane.
That being said, I also feel like there's probably a lot of people where Ashley may have felt that they were exaggerating, but they deeply felt what they felt. Ashley claimed to have screenshots that would clear her name in some regard. To what level is unknown, but said that she wouldn't post them.
I do have information such as screenshots, voice memos, and documents that I could share to clear my name for many and multiple of the allegations made against me, and it would help clear the air through different fabricated stories and lies.
To do so, sharing this information would require me to publicly post about the actions of other minors involved in these situations. I hesitate to do that because my intention with this video is not to bring any of the public harassment in which I or anyone related to me has received in the past month onto other people.
The more I think about this statement, the more nonsensical it becomes, in my opinion, because the allegations made were public SA allegations, which have serious legal and moral implications that will stick with you for your entire life. And so unfortunately, I do think it becomes beyond the bounds of not wanting to engage in drama, and something where if someone has the proof to clear their name in any regard, they absolutely should do what they can to absolve themselves, unless they can't because they did do those things. So then, right after saying Ashley won't post screenshots, she goes on to say that she's going to disprove some lies that she thinks will cause the least amount of harm. Again, I think the only thing that would be not engaging in internet drama and causing the least amount of harm would be clearing your name of SA allegations if you are able to. Anything else is just a red herring and literally engaging in more internet drama.
Even if it's at the expense of myself. I will, however, point out a couple of the lies that I think will cause the least amount of harm to other people involved in this, because I do not wish for this to be a continuous chain of posting back and forth videos about it. Claiming that I am some long-time villain and mastermind who only made her platform to make victims is incredibly inaccurate and takes away the reality of any situations. Unfortunately, the truth is I was in a serious problem for the majority of this year.
Ashley then talks about her addiction. She claimed that her addiction was the reason for all of her actions this year. Of course, there's many people that suffer with addiction and did not do these things. Ashley also claimed that the parent in her life, aka Michael Barnes, her father, was not getting her any help, even though there were adult professionals that were urging her to receive help.
There were many instances in which professionals tried to get the people who cared for me to take action, but no such action was pursued. I had gotten to the point where I was drinking water, and taking substances someone handed me every single day. My intentions weren't to have fun, they were to be unborn, let's say, guidelines.
Ashley also claimed that her job on social media was affecting her mental health severely. With all the recent claims that Ashley's parent, her dad Michael, uses her for her money, and her claim that he wasn't getting her help, this makes Michael look even worse.
I've spent the majority of this year living in a constant state of paranoia and mania because of how much pressure my job and the side effects of overusing my medication had gotten to me. I would be absolutely terrified, so I would call a friend and I would ask them to hang out because I was so scared of being on my own. I would jokingly say that my friends were babysitting me because, quite frankly, what I needed at the time was a parent.
Ashley claimed at one point she was begged to go to a psych ward. It was not clarified by who, but that she didn't because social media came first. It's not clarified who exerted this pressure onto Ashley or if she exerted this onto herself.
After my attempt back in April, which if you know me as a person, you would know how against my character that is, I was begged to go to the ER and be admitted to a psych ward. But obviously that didn't happen because in most cases, social media came first. I regret the decisions I made that allowed myself to get into such a dark space. I wish I could explain how I existed in such a state for so long.
Ashley also claimed that people are depicting this series of events inaccurately for shock, drama, and views. I want to say before I show Ashley's statements that two things can be true at once. Social media can greatly affect how people share their traumas. But also, even if Ashley can brush off her actions and not see them as a big deal, that doesn't mean it wasn't a big deal to others, or that it didn't impact them greatly. Also, I'm sorry, but if you are under the influence and struggling with addiction, as well as your mental health, your timeline of events may not be as reliable as well. Of course, not always, but that is a factor to consider. Maybe your actions had more of an impact than you realized.
I would like to mention, though, that the way people are depicting the series of events are inaccurate and dramatized simply for the appeal of shock factor and extra clicks. I apologize that I decided to take too many things, and I apologize for making anybody uncomfortable. But when you start exaggerating or changing details of the events that occurred to make yourself look better or run from your own bad decisions, that is where I lack sympathy for you.
Ashley claims she never forced or lied about what substances she was giving people, and that she never lied about her medication.
I'm gonna clear up a couple of the lies. To start, I never forced anybody or lied about what substance I was giving someone, and I never actually gave out my prescribed medication to anyone. I have also never taken legal action against anyone. After my most recent breakup, I was issued a cease and desist order, which I have the documentation and proof of, so I'm unable to talk about any of those things. I don't know why people who I cared for and trusted would lie so directly online, but I think that switching up details helps this storyline about my character that they are creating.
Ashley claimed she never took any legal action against anyone, and she also claimed that there was someone who came forward with allegations against her who had flirted with her when she was a minor. I believe she's referencing the influencer who Ashley left at a hostel, as this influencer kind of admitted it in their video as well. Ashley claimed she did not pay to ban Capri's account.
Another creator claims that I paid a certain amount of money to ban their account, and this is something that made a lot of people upset, to which I would like to say I have never paid to ban this creator's account. My manager has even said that he acknowledged that the ban was not because of me, but because he was getting clout off the situation, he was gonna continue pretending that it was.
It kind of seems like Ashley also claims in this video, in a very vague and roundabout way, that her and Capri, or some vague unnamed person who had a girlfriend, insinuating Capri, got together before the hotel incident. Considering the ages of everyone involved, I don't really want to speak much on that.
Certain people were also willing to lie about things that have happened because they share guilt. They used me as a way to dodge their own mistakes. I'll give an example. One individual is claiming that all the flirting was on my side and they wouldn't do anything because they have a girlfriend. I hate to admit this, and I do apologize for getting with someone who is single, but this person had, in their own words, quote, happily gotten with me while being involved with their current partner. But when this event occurred, I was not in a clear state of mind, and I do apologize for my part in that. I made the mistake of surrounding myself with too many people who only cared about likes and money.
Ashley claimed privately she took accountability to the people that she did hurt that she was able to reach out to before everything went public.
I would also like to say that I have taken accountability for the people that I did hurt, who I was able to contact. These apologies were made before anything was even brought online, which I do have messages and proof of if I need to show those, but I do need to remind you guys that it is illegal to post private conversations online, which is why I'm being so careful with what I show you guys. But this story that they've created about simply wanting an apology or to get justice is not the case at all.
In part 2 of Ashley's response, she claims ultimately she won't be apologizing to the internet about allegations on her name that have no proof.
I do not have to apologize to the entire internet for allegations on my name that don't have proof. But what I do owe you guys an apology for is how I let myself turn into someone that I have been very against.
I take this to mean that she just won't be speaking about anything that happened at the hotel, or the situations where people have come out and said stories about her, because there's essentially no proof. But there are many people who claim that they were hurt by her, who have similar stories about her harmful actions and potential abuse. If she's spoken with them privately and taking actions to move forward and do better in her life, of course she doesn't owe the internet an apology. But with the severity of these various claims, it doesn't seem like something one should brush off just because there's no physical proof.
I'm sorry for the bad decisions I made and the kind of content I started pushing out while struggling with addiction. I never intended to be famous in the first place.
Ashley claimed that she didn't respect other people's boundaries because growing up, her boundaries were never respected.
Growing up, my boundaries were never respected. Thus, I was never taught to set boundaries for people or for the internet. As a 61, flip it around, year old girl, I started sharing every detail of my life with everyone online. From the second I woke up to the second I went to sleep, and I was never told that that was wrong. I do apologize for not knowing or doing better. My mental health, physical health, schoolwork, personal life, friends, and everything was set aside at the expense of content creation. I am sorry for all the people in my life which I overshared online.
Ashley claimed that once she blew up on social media and an agency had reached out to her to make money, that's when people became very involved in her life. Considering she was underage and couldn't monetize anything herself, I'm assuming this means Michael Barnes became involved to help monetize her accounts. As she became more involved in social media, she didn't realize how abnormal everything was.
I had built a community of support and a place where I could fall back to when things in the real world were too difficult. Along the way, an agency reached out to make money, and this is when people in my life became very involved in my account. Suddenly, it didn't matter if I had homework or if I wanted to hang out with my friends because I had an ad to film or TikToks to film. Sophomore year was when I started Snapchat, in which I had to post 100 to 200 times a day, every day, for 6 months. This was where I started having bad episodes of derealization and dissociation constantly. I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. But obviously, no therapy was given to me because that would just stress me out worse, giving me less time to film videos. I am not trying to blame the people around me or victimize myself in this situation.
situation. I'm simply trying to give you guys some perspective as to how or why things got this bad. I take full responsibility for the fact that I didn't speak up or get help for myself sooner, and I apologize for everything that I decided to put in my body and how my actions hurt others. There were adults around me that should have made responsible decisions, but there were so many decisions that I should have made to help myself. I didn't realize how serious the effects of shoving everything aside for the internet had on me, and I didn't realize that wasn't normal because I had started to only become friends with other kids who shared the same job.
Ashley claimed she was going to take it slow when it came to coming back onto social media and posting.
A lot of you guys have been DMing me saying that you miss my content or asking when I'm going to post again, and my answer to that is to be determined. I genuinely do have a passion for helping people, and I do love creating videos, so I will probably keep making content, but not to the same extent as before. Having to post the amount that I did every day made me feel trapped, and I quite literally went insane. I think I need to take more time to continue working on myself and changing things in my life before even worrying about the online stuff. I am finally getting the mental help that I have been needing that has been put off for so long.
At the end, Ashley says something about being stuck in contracts and not seeing a way out. Again, Ashley doesn't exactly clarify what this means. Looking into TikTok, the fact that there are so many teen influencers right now, but likely the parents are receiving the money and essentially running these accounts while simultaneously signing long-term contracts where the influencers have to work continuously. Well, it's deeply concerning. We're just starting to see the mental health impacts. The impacts of these influencers thinking that they're adults and growing up too quickly, and what all of that can do to a person.
Please, please, please seek help because it is never too late to turn your life around. I had found myself stuck in some pretty difficult situations and contracts that made me miserable, and I thought that my only way out was using. I wake up every day acknowledging how lucky I am to be alive, because if I had carried on in the state that I was in, I am confident that I would not still be here. It is unfortunately too late for me to change anything in the past, and all I can do now is live a truthful life from this day forward. Thank you guys so much for your time, and thank you guys for listening.
From these response videos, it became clear very quickly that Michael Barnes was a contributing factor into Ashley's decline, not getting her help when she desperately needed it, which is bizarre considering his career and background. Ashley commented that before even going into rehab, she had to find a new place to live. She was living with her dad beforehand. She's taking responsibility. That's a step. Someone said after a month, and Ashley responded, I had to find a place to live and go to rehab first. I also noticed that the dad's account from Michael Barnes has been deleted. Michael Barnes' TikTok account was deleted after this response video. That seems like a pretty big thing for him to do. What is he hiding? Surprised he didn't delete it after his following list was pointed out. What was his following list? OF models. They linked a previous post. Michael Barnes Insta following. His Insta is Michael Barnes 60. Look at his following. First pick is someone he follows, and second is something he posted. He is 60 years old. Ashley dad. I feel like we need to dig deeper into what her dad has been doing these past months and why she is no longer living with him. I know we can't blame her actions on him, but he definitely can be blamed for driving her to addiction. The way she talked about how he pressured her into posting and put social media first doesn't sit right with me. Like, where is he and why does he not have any consequences? You sound so much better too. I hope you're doing okay. I'm grateful to have adults who care about my health more than likes taking care of me. I know she just came back, but hopefully we get more information about her dad one day, because clearly he was not a good parent. One of the most tragic things about Ashley's response videos is almost immediately after posting, she went back to constant posting on social media, especially on Snapchat. I'm not gonna post like I used to, as she continues to post like nothing happened. This girl has issues nobody can fix. While some people thought that Ashley's posting was a clear sign of her social media addiction, others thought it was a sign of manipulation, and that she apologized because she just wanted to go back to making money on social media. Though I want to put out another reminder, Ashley is 17. It was never for money, yet you apologized just to start making money again. There's been some light speculation on some of the claims of Ashley going to rehab, one of which an old friend of hers had made, though I want to talk about these claims with the utmost sensitivity. The sun had set a little bit too much, so I got some light. Sorry, it's getting a little dark. A Redditor did note that while Ashley was attending supposedly an inpatient rehab, people were posting her out in public frequently, which of course they probably shouldn't have been doing. And there was a lot of evidence of her being on her phone. Those two things, going out and about in public and being on your phone, are pretty hard to do if you're in an inpatient rehab. Apology not adding up. She's saying she hasn't been on her phone since the first day she got canceled, and she only saw the videos about her yesterday. But in the comments, she said she's been deleting and begun reposting videos before and after rehab. And how was she in rehab for a month, but got spotted like 4 times? She shouldn't have said inpatient either. It would have been more believable if she said outpatient. What's the difference between them? Sorry, I don't know what they mean. Inpatient means being in a facility of some kind, like you don't ever leave the facility till your treatment is over. Outpatient means you're under a treatment plan, but not in a treatment center, which is usually like being there 5 or 7 days a week in the day for stuff like therapy and testing, but don't sleep there and go home at night. The friend who was with Ashley when she was spotted at Target, but is now publicly posting against Ashley, also made a post stating that Ashley was never actually in rehab. So she was not at rehab. I personally don't know what to believe, since the spotting at Target happened a few weeks ago, and Ashley mentioned having to fight to get into a rehab facility and having to move out of her home first, possibly having a messy fallout with her father and having to figure out various logistics before even being able to enter a rehab facility. The truth could possibly be something in between, where she entered a rehab facility later in this saga when she was in a safe and stable environment, though of course it's not necessarily everyone's business to know the exact details of, in my opinion. Echo, Ashley's ex-friend, made a post in response to Ashley's response. Owning up to mistakes and saying you're sorry, and most importantly getting help, is something deserving of "I'm proud of you." Capri also made a post responding to some of the claims Ashley made about him, primarily the claim that he lied about Ashley paying to take down his account. He claimed that that claim came from a few different reliable sources, but he also said that Ashley's manager contacted him saying that the rumors were false. Yet he decided to go ahead and post about the claims anyways because he knew that it would make for good content.
One thing she said about me is that I made up the idea that she banned my account for $3,000. That is not entirely true. I heard it from 5 different influencers that that's what she did. Someone texted my friend Brad and told him that she was literally talking about it at a party. Before all this went on, she was talking about how you could ban people's accounts for $3,000. Then her manager at the time texted me and told me that it wasn't him and he had nothing to do with that. And I said, okay bro, like I believe you, cool. So when my account got unbanned, I posted a video basically saying, why'd you pay $3,000 if I'm just gonna get my account back? I knew there was a slim chance that she didn't do it, but honestly I knew it was gonna do good, so I posted it.
This, to me personally, is very concerning, only for the fact that it does make me wonder, in the very back of my mind, what else Capri has posted, without fully looking into the claims, or posted in a reckless manner, solely because he thought it would make for good content, maybe due to a lack of prefrontal cortex development, because a lot of these are serious claims, serious allegations, and not anything to be taken lightly. In regards to the claims that he cheated on Piper, Capri said that he is still with his girlfriend, that Ashley was vague about who she got with that had a girlfriend, which she was, but that now everyone is flooding his social media accounts with comments.
Did I cheat on Piper? If you guys have eyes, you guys can obviously see, but if you don't, maybe put on your glasses because I'm in Piper's bathroom right now. I'm currently dating my girlfriend still. I've never cheated on her, and I totally did not cheat on her with Ashley Barnes. She said something about someone cheating on the girlfriend and saying they happily did it with her. That wasn't me, but everybody's assuming that it was. Just want to let you guys know that it was not me. It's crazy to see how quick you guys switch up because everybody's been commenting that on my page and it's low-key been crazy.
I feel like Ashley mentioning this so vaguely in the first place feels a little bit weird. I've noticed a lot of comments that are now calling Capri a bad person, a hypocrite, almost equating him potentially cheating on Piper in the past to Ashley's SA. And that feels like a very deliberate distraction from the topic at hand in the first place. Of course, cheating is morally wrong, or getting with someone when you know that they have a girlfriend is morally wrong. That just makes Ashley look even worse. But also, just because someone consented in the past doesn't mean that they will consent in the future. It doesn't imply consent. Just because someone may have done something immoral doesn't mean they're deserving of SA. That aspect just feels like an attempt to make everyone look bad. On Brad's part, he made a post about responding to Ashley's response on Snapchat. I'm gonna address her video on Snap, so add me, because I can't say this stuff on here because guidelines. Though it does seem like Brad eventually posted a TikTok response. Brad's response, again, I think is most interesting because of what he chooses to focus on right out the gate. Instead of talking about Ashley going to rehab, receiving help away from her father, or any of the instances that happened the night of the hotel, the first thing Brad chose to talk about was that privately, Ashley only cared about money on social media. She often had them do sponsors for things things which Brad felt obligated to do because she would often pay for him.
She claimed that she never like did it for like the likes or views or like the money or followers, but there's multiple like instances where she would complain that her videos weren't doing good enough, or like she wasn't gaining as many followers, that she's been stuck at a certain number for so long that it frustrated her. And there's like multiple times where she was like, oh, like we need to do this ad, we need to do this ad, we need to do this ad, and like certain ads that she would get were specifically because I was there. So she would always like ask to do those ads, which is like understandable. Like she did pay for my stuff, like, you know, so I did owe her in that way.
Brad also brought Ashley's sister into the situation. It seems that both of them now live in Florida, and Ashley's sister came up to him when he was out one time and said hi, and allegedly took a photo with him. This to Brad means that Ashley's sister is on his side, which also means that he wasn't in the wrong. This feels like a weird way of triangulating, or bringing someone who has nothing to do with the situation and has claimed she doesn't want to be involved in this situation into the line of fire to try to protect yourself.
Ashley's sister said, oh my god, hi Brad, like I miss you so much, and she took a picture with me. Why would her sister take a picture with me if I was lying on her sister's name? Like, why would she like be on like my side about this kind of stuff? Like, that just does not make sense to me. But yeah, she always like, she claimed that she didn't care about the money and followers when that's all she ever talked about.
Even though most people had believed Brad and his story. Brad goes on for a bit in this video response, making claims based off of what other people had told him, saying that he believes them because they're trusted people in his life. This, in my opinion, is where Brad's age shows. I won't be showing this part of the video because Brad makes some intense claims about Ashley giving out substances or paying to get accounts taken down. And the only reason why he makes those claims is because someone he knows told him that, or he saw screenshots. Not to bring ageism into this, but I feel like most fully formed, mature adults know not to involve yourself into situations that don't have anything to do with you, or make claims that you don't fully know 100% so publicly. It seems really reckless and dangerous. Brad said he didn't really consider Ashley's video an apology, which is fair. And from what he says afterwards, it seems like Brad doesn't think his story is believed by many, which makes me sad because I don't think that's necessarily the case either.
I mean, props to her for like, you know, admitting to her abuse, but I still don't really consider that an apology video. She was more of apologizing to her fans of who she's become, not apologizing to the people that she quite literally probably traumatized. There's so many people, 10 people like with reliable stories that were her best friends at one point. Why would all of us lie, and then suddenly she comes out of the story and now we're all liars?
It's possible that this whole thing, bringing his situation to a public platform, has affected him quite greatly, given him a lot of trauma, and then seeing who's essentially his abuser come back to her very large platform and be received somewhat positively has affected him in a very negative way, and his mental health, which is really sad. Brad also mentioned that Ashley's memory or account of the situation seems to work in very interesting ways that end up being very convenient for her. She will remember with such clarity when she claims that people are not telling the truth. Like when she claimed that she never once lied about what substances she was giving people. But on the other hand, she'll have memory gaps when people are trying to hold her accountable and blame it on her use of substances, which is very interesting.
How can she remember all this stuff but says that she never remembers anything because of her overusing, but she just can suddenly remember that when there were 3 people that all confirmed that she did lie about what she said it was?
That being said, many of Brad and Capri's original posts on the situation are being deleted, as well as their response videos, which has led a lot of people to start questioning their entire story or wonder why their posts are being deleted. Brad deleted his response video. It was up for like an hour on his TikTok. Did anyone see it? It's already deleted. I feel like this is turning into very classic victim blaming, where they're really not able to do anything correctly, when really it could just possibly be that the situation is over and done with and everyone wants to move on. They don't want these videos as a sort of stain on their page, a bad memory that they have to forever see. Imagine such a public video of your worst trauma, your worst day, and it's being viewed by millions of people, seen at any moment. It could also be that they just got tired of people calling them clout chasers. The situation was discussed discussed and they wanted to move forward. Maybe it was for a nefarious reason, and there were parts of the situation that were more exaggerated for views and engagement, as Ashley discussed. The reality is, this is what happens when teenagers are allowed to develop a platform on social media and run freely with little supervision, but profit massively, with parents who encourage it because they benefit from it too.
Everybody's lying, including Ashley. Like, I think everybody is just dogpiling exaggerations and misinformation and lies, and how can they jump on this and how can they exaggerate this to make themselves more involved and blah blah blah. I think that's what's happening, and I think it's taking away from the people who actually endured trauma from that girl. And I think that Ashley is a problem, right? Don't get me wrong, I'm not defending her. I think everything that people are claiming at their core, I think those things are true, but I think there's been some exaggeration to help further the point. And like, I think also people are trying to tell stories without incriminating themselves at all.
I do not think personally that Brad and Capri lied about the main aspects of this story, because I do think that would have been disproven by now. But if it does come out that there were certain aspects of the story that were over exaggerated, I think also personally that grace should be given to them, because it's so clear, again, in my opinion, that from all accounts, from all people that are involved in this story, that these are teenagers whose sole focus in their lives is social media and views and engagements, and none of them can escape from that, not even when it comes to healing their own trauma. As someone with a job in social media, I can kind of understand how it could get to that point. If you don't have good influences in your life, or never learned how to practice boundaries with people, I may even cross over into that territory at times, spending an all-nighter posting a video, or diving into a rabbit hole and letting it consume my thoughts for a few days, letting an internet comment get to me. How weird is it that this is the new reality for so many people, that it's the new norm for so many careers? And how sad that teenagers are experiencing this at a young age, on top of all of the things that being a teenager comes along with. Thank you to the Crimson Dragon 12 for posting this topic on my subreddit r/exploitation exposed, the proposed internet laws under child safety, and also thanks to my new favorite creator and journalist, Taylor Lorenz. We need to talk about proposed internet-wide laws under the guise of child safety. Age verification will stop free speech online. These laws, in the guise of protecting children from exploitation, will actually do more harm than good, since these laws don't apply to children but creators too, especially laws on monetary gain with minors, because the money is put in the hands of parents' abusers. These laws also include YouTubers who talk about child exploitation. It may cause censorship en masse due to it. Lawmakers are wanting to pass laws to censor the internet as a whole, and are not interested in protecting children from those exploiting them. It's a dangerous line to tread, and more people need to talk about it. Here in the UK, the Online Safety Act was rolled out last Thursday, and it's been so badly implemented that the UK is facing having a version of Wikipedia with key features hidden behind Hadrian's firewall. And there's various reports about protest footage being blocked and unalive advice sites being blocked, under the misguided belief that they were advising people how to do it. And the hits just keep coming, as now Spotify is demanding age verification.
Parents and lawmakers are calling for tech companies to verify users' ages online. They frame these efforts as a smart, reasonable, and harmless way to keep kids safe, but that's not what age verification does. Age verification efforts are a major threat to privacy, freedom, and the very idea of an open web. No one knows this better than Eric Goldman. He is the Associate Dean for Research at Santa Clara University School of Law and co-director of the High Tech Law Institute. He recently wrote a fantastic paper on age verification, soon to be published in the Stanford Technology Law Review. And today he's joining me to talk about how age verification works online and how these laws pushing it are all ultimately a Trojan horse for government control, surveillance, and censorship of online speech.
What do we do when society cares about protecting the privacy of children, but laws and regulations, even ones that try and act like they do care about this, are only doing the exact opposite, or only care about their own agendas? How do we protect minors online without further exploiting them, or isolating them from important knowledge, important help, and online communities in a world where they're already so isolated? I I think in this teen influencer landscape, the best we can do is raise awareness and empathy always. And that's what I try to do when it comes to the story of Ashley Barnes and all those involved. And that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for making it to the end. If this was triggering for you in any way, my heart goes out to you. You're definitely not alone in that. I hope you're doing well. If you're curious what the next video topic will be and you have any input, look at my comment down below where I'll be letting you know, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay well until then. Bye!